6:06 on September 3rd, 2013, the Water Commissioners meeting, Town of Raleigh. First order of business is to accept the minutes of 8/13/13. Did you folks have any corrections or any comments? Everything look okay?
I read them and I'm satisfied. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for August 13th, 2013.
Okay.
I wasn't here, so I was...
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Second order of business is signed purchase orders. Okay, we got tie sales. $11,486. What's that for, John? You get 20 meters? That's a big ticket item. Oh, okay.
It's not the goal of meters, so
It was country club. Deal went down when I,
Okay, is that full swing now, or?
The country club's in full swing. Village Common, they've got 3 built. They're looking for some of those meters. They're putting grass.
Village Common, was that the one down 1A?
Yeah. Yes. They're looking at putting in a lawn and trying to get some of theirs sold so they can build some more.
Okay. That's pretty good. You get good pricing on that, John? Laura, can you do me a favor and get a sign-in sheet for the people here?
I think she has one going.
Oh, you already did? Okay. Well, yeah, way ahead of me. Second one is Hatch Company. You've already signed that one, so. Okay, pH meters. Well, that's the,
Those are parts for the pH meters out at the wells.
yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
take pH readings all the time, and those probes kinda get crowded up after a while.
That's actually an expendable portion of the probe. So you should get one of those about every 3 to 6 months.
How often are you gonna take pH on the water?
That's continuous as long as the wells are running.
Okay. What would an increase or decrease in pH, what would that tell us?
That the lime isn't feeding, or the sodium hydroxide isn't feeding,
Yeah.
or that it's overfeeding, which isn't very likely.
Yeah.
And that's your corrosion control. That's what's controlling your lead and copper.
Okay, tie sales again. Couplings, polyurethane tubing, is this for a different project?
That's stock.
This stock? I can't read this one. Is it Univar?
That's chemicals for the wells.
Chemicals for the wells.
Okay.
Might not want to sign the back, this might go through.
Tedford. You got some screws and lumber. There you go. What was that for?
From the pad for the propane tank.
What was that one?
Cement pad for the propane tank.
Astro Chemicals. Hydrated lime.
3 and 5 are still online.
Cheaper by farmer's line.
They just don't like you putting it in water.
Yeah.
Okay, ortho polyphosphate.
That's for all 3 wells.
So Pristine Water, is that a new
Yes.
vendor for us?
State bid.
And Astro Chemicals, they're all new
Yeah,
vendors?
yeah.
That's the one that Laura, you went down with Lexington there and secured that for.
That's the Northeast Merrimack Valley Chemical Consortium. It's a consortium of 40-odd towns that have all gotten together.
Yeah, she went down and she saved us a lot of money by doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be one company that
Oh,
vended
no.
out all the
No,
chemicals.
they each bid on each different chemical, and we take the low bidder from each chemical.
Each chemical.
And not necessarily each chemical, because one company can get the low bid on the bulk
Yep.
of a chemical, and somebody else can have the low bid on the 55-gallon drums or the 30-gallon drums. So, we get really good prices compared to what you get trying to
No, I
run your
mean,
own.
when she went down there, it was quite a bit of money savings that he came up with. I forget what the number was, but it was quite a bit of money. There's a chair up front, sir, if you want to sit down.
Fine, thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight, Gene.
No problem.
Is that it? Mm-hmm.
Uh, Stu finishes up that.
No, I was asking if that was the last one.
What the concrete columns for, John?
Huh?
What the concrete columns for?
Pollard's. Pollard's for the team.
Okay. Okay, so that's 6:15. I'd like to discuss with Mr. and Mrs. Petrillo the mechanics lane that was placed on their property recently. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm sorry you had to come in.
Yeah, we are too. I don't know what you want me to say tonight. I did manage to leave a letter this morning that I'd written, that we'd written last week.
Yeah, I'll read it into the record here, I guess.
Okay.
Town of Raleigh Water Department, 401 Central Street, Raleigh, Mass, dated August 23rd, 2013. Dear Mr. Toomey, Chairman of the Raleigh Water Board, we are tax-paying and water bill-paying good citizens of Raleigh. I agree with that. We want to know in writing how the Raleigh Water Department and the contractors Kinsman Corporation made the unscrupulous error resulting in a lien being placed on the deed of our property, our private property. We had no knowledge of this fact, this act, for 14 days. Not only has this totally upset and aggravated us, but we could still cause us financial or other harm in the future. We want documentation for our personal files to prevent any future problems. We are sending copies of this letter to the selectmen, along with being on the agenda of August 26, 2013, to ensure immediate action to resolve this problem. We look forward to hearing from you and also in attending your meeting. Robert and Jean Petrol. So, would you care to give us a little rundown of your dilemma that had happened over the last couple of weeks?
Sure, I think it's ingrained in our brain.
Yeah, I bet it is.
We received a letter in the mail on August 15th, and it said, well, we were so stunned we had to read it through 3 or 4 times, that it said that we had a lien placed on our property because of an unpaid portion of the bill. $14,000 was the portion, plus was the total bill.
Yeah,
And the unpaid portion was like $6,900, whatever, but they placed the lien. And we couldn't, and it was for mechanical rental, whatever, and we were just so stunned, we hadn't done anything on our property, we didn't rent any equipment or anything, so the only thing that occurred to me was that for several months previous, we occasionally got a FedEx delivery in our driveway, and either my dog barked or I looked out the window and I saw the FedEx truck, and I ran out, and it was large packaging, too heavy for me to lift, but I said to the gentleman driving the truck, "This isn't ours." He said, "Well, it says 916 on the slip," and I said, "Well, it must be for the water treatment plant. So you have to go down the road, down the dirt road, all the way to the back and bring it," never thinking that this was going to cause us a big problem, because maybe they just wrote down 916 because it was on our mailbox. But when we had the letter, that's when we realized that this probably had something to do with that. So I called Buckley Richardson, the attorneys who were in Springfield, and the woman that I spoke to, Christine or Kristen, said that not only was our name on this letter, but it was on contracts and a lot of other documents. So I told her that I would check with the water department and that I would get back to her to finish up our conversation. So I called, first thing I did was I called Town Hall, and I asked to speak to Debbie Egan, but she was in a meeting. Then I called Bob Snow, but he wasn't home. So my husband said, "Let's just take the letter and we'll go down to Town Hall." So when we got there, of course, we were really upset, but Debbie directed us to the water department, and she asked Doreen to call so that they would be aware we were coming, and to see because we gave them copies of the letter,
yeah.
and to see what Kinsman had to say about it or whatever. So my husband and I left, and we came here, and we saw Mr. Rizzo and Laura. You have to understand, we're really extremely upset, and so we were trying to figure out how could this happen to us? How could anyone possibly put a lien on our property without our knowledge?
Yeah,
Because the letter said that it was placed on our property on August 2nd, and this was already August 15th.
mhm.
So, and Mr. Dalzell came in to speak with us too, and he was trying to help us. And Laura was too. I think she got in touch with Buckley Richardson, and to make a long story short, they said they would take the lien off on Monday. Well, John and Mr. Dalzell and the Weston Simpson engineer said they would try to figure out what was happening. We went home. It was 5 o'clock. I couldn't reach Buckley Richardson. They had already closed for the day. and our lawyer is gone for the day. So first thing Friday morning, I called and I spoke to Mr. Poindexter himself because I didn't feel putting Christine in the middle was appropriate.
Yeah.
I said to him, you know, I want the lien off today, and he said, no, we'll do it Monday, because he didn't say no, he said, well, we'll do it Monday, you know, we're in Springfield. And I said, listen, you know, you put it on without any problem, it's been on and we don't even know about it. I would like this taken off our property by the end of the day at before 5 o'clock. I want documentation in my hand that it's been removed from our deed, because we're not youngsters. I mean, we're not old, but we're not youngsters.
Yeah.
And anything could happen to us. I mean, we could be killed in a car crash. You know, we could have heart attack or whatever. And we have one child, and he would be stuck with this mess without knowing anything about it, besides just having us gone. And, you know, things happen. Things happen in life, you know. So he said, all right, he would try to do something, and he would let me know. So I said, okay, I expect the documentation in my hand by 5. So he called me back, and in the meantime, Laura said she had talked to them too. He called me back about 1 o'clock and said that the lien they do a dissolution, is what they call it.
Yeah.
And he would fax the copies to the water department, and then Laura kindly brought those to me, so I have them in my hand. But
So they filed a dissolution, you found out about this on the 15th,
yeah,
and when did they file the dissolution?
on the 16th, because I wasn't waiting until Monday.
The next day, wow.
Yeah, because it just,
Yeah.
they were wrong.
Oh, yeah.
They were wrong to be putting our name and address on things without even checking. So it's been really disheartening. Our lawyer checked right away, and then he checked again Monday to make sure it was off. But we're discussing between ourselves what we should be doing. But what we think,
Did Kingsman offer to pay for all of any legal fees that you accrue?
I haven't heard anything from anyone.
Because as far as I'm concerned, they should pay for everything, that any aggravation you've gone through for any legal fees.
I just,
I mean, if you contacted your lawyer, that costs you money, and it had nothing to do with you, so why should you pay it?
well, that's.
They should be taking care of it, as far as I'm concerned.
That's correct. However, it's just, in the future, what will happen? All right, it's off the property.
I have 3 suggestions. I'm just waiting for you to finish talking that I'd like to bring to the board, but
I just want to be sure, what if we decided to sell our home and this comes up? Or what if we decide to take out an equity loan on our property to help our granddaughters go to college? We just want to be assured as much as possible that this hasn't affected us, that it's not going to be on our credit ratings or anything. And and what I'd like from the water board, because Bob and I have been discussing this, we'd just like some kind of documentation that says how this possibly happened. Who did this thing? Who put our address on paperwork? And why weren't we even sent a bill for $6,900? Or a receipt that this was paid? No, but it's okay to just go put the lien on the property.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out, you said that you got mail before this happened.
FedEx, not mail, but FedEx.
FedEx stuff.
FedEx,
Was it
yeah.
all related to that one thing where, that's related to Attorney Poindexter, or?
I don't think so, because the equipment they talked about was rental, mechanical,
Yeah.
and labor.
I'd like to see
Drop
if
stock off is what happened.
what I'd like to see if possible, if maybe we could have a small sign made up. They could put it at the end of their driveway or partway in, no water department deliveries at this address, to start with, so when the FedEx truck first pulls in, they know they're in the wrong place. And then second of all, we need to get somebody in from Kingsman to talk to us about this. and make sure that they're gonna pay for any of their problems they went through, but it's not right.
Gene is here, Gene is from Kinsman. He's-
But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it goes back to you people, and this is the second time we've had complaints of something not getting paid. And third, I don't wanna sign any more bills until I see that somebody's getting paid down the line. In other words, when Western Sampson gives us the paperwork for us to sign off of Kingsman and them and whatever, that the sub-truck contractors are getting paid. Because I mean, we had the cement company in here just a few months back, and now we got these people in here, and it's not right. I mean, we're signing things in good faith,
Cement,
and somewheres along the line, it's not getting paid down the road. And now, look at the problem we have right now.
it's the same incident, the concrete guys or,
Pump guy.
yeah. So it's a
What's your
concrete guys.
background?
I'm a water commissioner, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
know.
saying,
What's your name?
Roy
I haven't
Ricker.
met you.
Roy Ricker.
Roy.
It's just that this is the second time that something's come up.
Well, if you give 2 seconds, I can explain
Okay,
to you what's
go
going on.
for it.
All right, because it's gonna probably happen again. All right? First of all, let me apologize to Mr. and Mrs. Petrillo here. I met you folks at the groundbreaking, so I was around in the beginning, and, you know, I'm sorry about what happened, but I want you to know it had nothing to do with either Rowell Water Department or Kinsman.
Wait a minute. You people are in charge, so the buck stops someplace and it's you.
Right. I know that's what you'd like to believe.
Well,
Here's how it works. And this includes your...
No, I'm just saying, we sign it in good faith.
I know it, and I
You did
do
the
it.
work.
Excuse me,
Just
excuse
don't
me,
get paid.
excuse me for one. Let's let Mr. Connor speak for a minute.
The way it works is we submit a requisition, incorporates all the subcontractors' amounts that they've applied for, it's approved by the engineer, it's approved by the representative from the town of Raleigh, the water department, John, and it goes to you folks to sign.
Exactly.
Which you sign, you pay us, we pay the subcontractors the approved amounts, and we get lien releases from them that state to us that they have paid all their vendors and suppliers and sub-subs down to the 3rd or 4th tier, whatever it is.
Exactly.
So we have that documentation, if you guys ever want to look at it from us. However, in this particular case, and in the case with Independent Concrete Pump that you're talking about, that person who signed those releases under perjury penalty and sent them to us was lying. That's all, that's all it is. He hadn't paid certain vendors, and there's a lot more, that, 20,
No,
30,
it makes us
30
look
times
bad.
as much as what we're
Say
talking
so.
about right here that I'm on the hook for right now, number one. So this is an unfortunate example, and I can't have no explanation of how they got their address involved. I have no idea about that, because any purchase order that I do.
But do you
has
agree a small
64
sign we put
Farm
out
Road.
there, no deliveries here?
They shouldn't accept
Good.
anything from anybody.
We
No,
didn't
I mean, they
accept
just
it.
drop them,
You
you know
didn't
what I'm saying?
accept anything.
They just leave them.
I know, but what happens is, and it's not Kinsman, but there's other people out there, there's probably 20 or 30 different subcontractors out there besides us. And if you use the address of 64 Pingree Farm Road, they end up in Georgetown trying to find it, because there is no such thing. So people have taken to try to find a landmark out by the street, which is the only thing I can guess that somebody used and got your mailbox on it. That's the only thing I can imagine,
It's my understanding
because
that there's been a sign put up there, 64.
there was signs there from before we even drove in the place. There was a sign there from day one that says, this is what it is, 64 Pingree Farm Road, water treatment plant, construction site, etc.
Sir, has your company sent a letter of apology to Mr. and Mrs. Patel?
I didn't do what happened to them. No, sir, I have not. And if you want a letter of apology, it's my opinion, it should come from a lawyer. If you want to talk about unscrupulous, they're the ones that did this in concert with a clerk somewhere in some court that didn't check and see what's going on. We didn't do it. I didn't know about it. And it stinks what happens, but that's
mean,
the
it just
way
makes
You're
us look
supposed
bad,
to be in
right.
charge, Jack, so do something.
I'm in charge, and I'm telling you what happened.
It's not fair for us. It's not fair.
I'm sorry about it, but
I'm brokenhearted about it
there isn't.
because I'm not a trusting person anymore. I understand that the lawyer is unscrupulous,
That's where the fault lies.
but somebody else should be responsible. You can't-
Somebody else should be responsible for what the lawyer did?
No, someone else should be responsible for subcontractors.
Well, but
I mean,
this is not a...
excuse me, this is just an aside, I'm sorry. But the taxpayers of Raleigh, or the water payers of Raleigh, have given the water department $14 million. And as a water bill payer, I think that the contractor should be responsible for every penny of that $14 million.
Not if you don't pay it to me. You're paying me 9.7, so I don't know where the other 4.5
All right,
is
for
going.
9.7 million.
Whatever, I'm responsible for that. That's who's paying the bills when this guy walks away from his obligations. I am.
You can't yell at me. My husband and I are
I'm not
victims
yelling,
here.
I'm just
You're
saying,
You most certainly are,
You're
you
called-
sound like me, so shut up.
You're trying to call me out like I had something to do with this. I don't have
But you
anything to
have
do
to
with it.
understand.
Look, are you in charge?
I'm in charge of getting the construction done
Well,
out
do
there.
the fucking job and
You're on.
pay the bills. I really don't care if I'm on camera.
Listen, let me take over.
Understand, it wasn't my attorney that did
Let
this.
me take over from here, okay? Let's calm down.
I still believe we should put a sign out front, no deliveries at this address for the water
Well,
department.
we could do that. We could do
And,
that.
I think
We also-
somebody has got to make sure that these people are taken care of.
Okay,
All right, a lawyer, or whoever's down the line, from Kingsman on down through, somebody should take care of these people, make sure they don't have this problem
Well,
again, and it's completely squashed.
what we did do, Roy, is we contacted, when we found out about this happening, we contacted Weston and Sampson, and John and Laura called me up, and then Stewie was, working there, trying to figure out what actually had happened, and we constructed a letter, and I think that the letter is, it's in draft form. I think that this will take care of some of their concerns. I'd like to read that, and if somebody would like to comment on it right now, I think we need to put a letter together for the patrols, okay? So, it's Dear Mr. and Mrs. Petrollo, this letter is a follow-up to our discussions regarding the unfortunate and erroneous lien action taken by attorney Jeffrey Poindexter, who is the legal representative for United Rentals, a subcontractor working for the Kinsman Corporation, period. The Water Department has directed the contractor, Kinsman Corporation, to take the following measures to prevent any further potential problems from occurring. Okay, so we're directing our contractor and our subcontractor, or our general contractor for the construction management, to get on top of this. Number one, all parties associated with the project that are under the jurisdiction of the contractor should never use 916 Havel Street when referring to deliveries. Now, Gene told me just now, or us now, he hasn't used it from the onset. So is that true, Gene?
That's correct. Every one of my purchase orders has the address that the town issued to me as the official address for the site, which is the
Okay.
64 Pingree Farm Road. But like I started to explain, if somebody tries to find that on a GPS or MapQuest
Oh, I
or
know.
something, they end up in Georgetown
Yeah.
because the road got bisected. So
Okay.
it's been problematic, but it's not on our orders any other way.
So the UPS guys and all these other shippers, whoever they might be, Yellow or wherever, they're familiar with the site now, so they
They
know how
are
to
now,
get there.
correct. Especially
Down the road,
if
there's
you're
gonna be more,
almost
that's
there.
why I think we should put a sign out there, no deliveries
Well,
at
we
this
gotta,
address.
yeah, that's a good suggestion. All parties, number two, all parties associated with the project that are under the jurisdiction of the contractor should be directed in writing to use the correct street address for the water treatment plant for deliveries, 64 Pingree Farm Road. Number three, improve the signage directing delivery trucks to 64 Pingree Farm Road. This has since been completed. So they improved the signage, Roy, but what did you guys do as far as signage?
At the road?
Yeah,
I think we moved the sign that was sort of facing the road so that it's perpendicular to the street, stuck it on a little post or something, so that it's more visible as you come by. It's all pretty visible, but some people just don't see it, and
Yeah.
they'll drive by, or else, you know, if what I've been telling people now is 133 east, half a mile, look on the right-hand side for all the signs. And, you know, if they do that, they're
Yeah.
dialed right into the driveway.
Yeah.
But there have been probably a few drivers that don't pay attention to that, and
I
that's
just
gonna
like to
happen
see
no
a
matter where
sign,
you go.
sign, sir, it's at the end of their driveway.
No, it's on the
Nobody's there
drive, it's
for
on
water
a dirt
back.
road driveway.
And make sure that everybody goes there, and I'd like to see whoever's in charge of this problem they had, if it's Kingsman or down the line, make sure they get an apology and everything is completely squashed off of it. Because, you know, it's not right for these people to
Well,
go
so
through
far, I'm
this.
with you on those three things. I'm okay with all three of those things.
Yeah.
You know, we never even complained about the construction trucks. As a matter of fact, as I was telling John, we haven't really had a problem with any of those drivers or those people. They've been very considerate. And you would think that that would be the problem with the big cement trucks and the heavy loads and things coming in and all kinds of equipment. But no, this is the problem, and this is worse than that could ever be, because it just affects our life so much.
Yeah.
You know, the construction will go away eventually.
Yeah,
And
so
it'll be just
another year and they'll be,
Right.
How do we find out that everything is completely squashed in this? How do we go through that through the lawyers?
I don't think that we're not in communication. You talked to the lawyer briefly, haven't you, Laura?
Mr. Poindexter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so
I
we,
did give him Gene's bond,
yeah.
performance bond. That was my last
Yeah,
communication
so
with
that,
him.
everything, see, Gene has told us there's like a system that these guys that work for Gene or the town of Raleigh, if they have subcontractors, they get approved to Gene. You know, Gene's the boss when it comes to that they've been paid. And then this guy that did that obviously lied. And then, you know, then everything took off its own life from there. So this guy, trying to get paid, because the contractor he just kind of fizzled out or something, that Gene hired,
Yeah.
had gone the route of getting a lawyer, and they can do that. A subcontractor to a subcontractor,
Was
Can
was
get a
this a
lawyer,
direct one working
and
for
they
you,
can
or was
slap a
this
lien
2
on
or 3
anything.
down?
I didn't even know about them. I had no
He
knowledge.
wouldn't even know about it.
Yeah, because it does say in the letter, United Rental, then Marginal, Luxor, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
But
United Rental is, Gene, is he still in the picture?
Yeah, I've got stuff out there from United Rental. I have my own account
Yeah.
with them that.
So he has an account with them, and then the subcontractor had an account with them. He didn't know that the subcontractor had gotten,
No, I didn't. I had no knowledge. And they never came to me first to check and see if there was anything that we could do. They went directly this route, because in Massachusetts, you can do that. You can get an attachment ex parte. All you have to do go in is tell them a story, and some clerk will sign it, and it's done.
Can you
They
do
don't
us a
check
favor,
facts.
Gene? Can you, to all your subcontractors that you use, United Rental and down the line, make sure a letter is sent from your office to them and explaining the address situation, so they all have that in black and white?
Yeah, I
So
have
if this
about-
comes up again,
Probably,
you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
I can do that. I have about 2 dozen guys.
No, I'm just saying,
And then it's up to them to send it to their subs and.
at least we got somebody to blame, is what I'm trying to say down the road.
well, you have a document that this guy signed that said he paid his subcontractor?
Yeah, every month, whenever
Can
we
you make
issue.
a copy of that and give it to Laura, so Laura can put a letter together and give it to the Petrillos, because they're gonna need that if they're gonna go after this guy.
We can go on and on here. The point is, Mr. and Mrs. Petrillo, as you said, they need a letter. That was a mistake to put in their personal papers if they ever went to it. Put them on return their home to help the grandchildren out of school or something, whatever. But they need that letter, so they looked up their credit. They saw a lien on it.
Yep.
They can explain the mistake.
it just seems so sad that this kind of thing would happen, because people aren't paying attention to, I mean, the thing is, we don't want it to happen again.
I mean, I just can't believe that they came up with your address and went against you when it's the Town of Raleigh project and Weston and Sampson and gentlemen from Kingsman and everything else, how they came up with two homeowners that are out front of the whole project. And it's just unbelievable.
The
And then-
point is, the attorney was sleeping.
Yeah, it speaks to the attorney's,
Yeah. It's not, it's a
He did
mistake.
not do his homework.
It
Yeah,
upset these
very
people.
costly mistake.
It upset them, well,
Yeah, and
it's costly, but it's upset them a lot, so it's like.
You can't blame them.
I think what would help is that we got, you know, I think if we saw that, sign-off sheet for, this guy paying that guy that, you know, initiated this action to you, that would help you a lot to, get, this Poindexter to, you know, straighten it out further for you. You know, and as far as, you know, bringing this to our attention, and Gene's on top of it, I can see, you know, and we're on top of it. This letter is gonna go out.
Yeah, we apologize for anything that happened.
Yeah. So this, you guys wanna send this letter out?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so I got a motion, we'll send this letter.
I'll make that one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And so,
And so Laura will send you copies of all the, letters and things that you get.
there's only one letter that he had a certification from this guy
oh,
saying
it's
he paid these
multiple,
guys.
excuse me, there's multiple ones, every month.
Every month he was
Every
doing?
month, there's a
Okay.
form, when they get the check, they send back the lien release and said that these people have been paid for anything up until that day.
Yeah.
Every
I'm a
month.
little bit concerned too. How long has this been going on? How long have you been getting mail about this issue?
Well, it was over, yeah, it wasn't mail, it was the FedEx.
I mean, it's the same
Yeah,
thing to me,
It
it's
was
mail
over a
or-
couple of months.
Okay.
You know, and like my dog.
Because we've been
bought
getting
some.
stuff like that too, so, you know.
It-
In fact, we had Laura spent a day and John spent a half a day, and we had Weston and Sampson spend a day on this issue for you to try to resolve this, and, you know, it's a lot of manpower to spend, and, you know, hopefully that you won't see this again, so, I mean, it's just a matter of, you know, trying to get this thing done. I think that this certification, these certifications that Mr. Connor can provide it's gonna help you out to show that this shouldn't have happened with this law firm or this company. This company should have been on top of their lawyer that put a lien on your property. I just can't believe that they'll just do it haphazardly like that. They didn't check into it. They didn't check the procedures out.
If you get any deliveries whatsoever to pull in your driveway,
Oh.
again, call Laura right away and tell them something's still going on. So Laura can be on top of this and get a hold of Weston, Kingsman, whoever. you
I
know.
wanna know who they're addressed to, because.
No, I'm just saying, if anything,
That
if
means
somebody
that one-
pulls in and tries to drop something, please call Laura right away so we can squash it before anything happens.
Well, we just happened to be in our backyard a week ago, last Wednesday, and a truck pulled up in front of our house and stopped, a big truck, and a guy got out. And so my husband, after a few minutes, went out front, but someone from the water department was there. But the truck was parked in front of our house.
No, but I mean, if anybody even thinks about trying to drop something there, just call Laura and let her try and squash it before any problems happen.
But if we're not home, you're not running it out.
I realize
Well, let's
that.
see, right now, the plant in that location is tied into Pingree Farm Road, which is the road, actual road that goes in there, okay? And so, is the Pingree Farm Road marked out there on the
Yes, it
corner?
is.
Okay, so
It has been for years, but that's why I'm saying, put up a small sign at the end of their drive.
what's
No
confusing
delivery
is that
for water.
there's like three,
They're right
driveways.
close together, you know, they have
Short
been for years.
driveway, Pingree Farm Road, and the,
Probably.
right there, you know, so you're gonna get some confusion. So,
It just, I know what you're saying to us, but it's very hard for us to get over this. You know, when you go to bed at night and you're laying down on your pillow.
It isn't your credit rating, it's mine.
I realize that, sir, and we apologize for what happened, but we had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I sure as shit had nothing to do with it.
Mr. Petrello, Mr. and Mrs. Petrello, in all due respect, I heard about this on Thursday afternoon. I came right up here, tried to help you folks. Laura worked very hard. A gentleman from Western Sampson, John, and Elaine was taken off the following day. Other than the letter being sent out, that it was a mistake, what else can we do?
It just seems so unsettled to us because we have really no proof of, you know.
I think you need to be talking to the lawyers that started this whole mess myself, you know?
I came by there just before dark Sunday evening. You have to look hard to see the signs, but Mr. Corner stated earlier that the signs are perpendicular down to the road, so you should be able to see them.
However, sometimes they come in from the other side too. They come in from the east side as opposed to the west side off the highway, so they wouldn't see it that way.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion, we get a couple signs made up to be put up there, so it's covered both ways. And something at the end of their driveway. I'll make that motion, and I don't know if the second.
According to this, the signs have been, I asked John if he get some signs up, and the signs have been put up.
Yeah, there's only one.
What do the signs look like?
They were, what was called for, one of them's blue with white lettering, it says Raleigh Water Department, and has the commissioner's info on it, our name, Weston Sampson, such. It says State Park, access, and water treatment plant. And there's another one there that's, I think, orange, that...
I saw the orange one just went up recently, within the last week.
That's the one that's now...
But maybe we should
so
put
you
one the
can
other
see
way,
the
what I'm
road.
saying, sir. You know, so they can see it if they're coming up from...
Yeah, the one that's out on the going west on the road says trucks entering. That's, because we had that from the beginning when we were turning around out there, but that would be a good place for another one too, with an arrow right there on that same post.
I think we need to put a couple of signs up.
Well,
so
I
they
think
go on.
a sign might say, okay, construction project 600 feet in. And that kind of would tell everybody, okay, there's a road that just brings you right in there.
The thing is,
They might
their
be looking-
driveway and Pingree Farm, I mean, we're talking 15, 20 feet.
No, I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying?
the actual construction project, that's gotta be 6 or 7
Yeah, it's
feet
a
in.
long way in. It's more than that. It's
2,000.
1,500 feet or so in there.
No, but what I'm saying, the two driveways are within 15 feet of each other. You know, and
Yeah.
we just need some extra marking there, I think.
Okay, so I don't know, I mean, we can give you this letter, and then further than that, we can give you just evidence that this subcontractor to our contractor wasn't paying his subcontractors. And the evidence would be this certification form that Mr. Connor was talking about.
All right.
Would help you with, when you talk to Mr. Poindexter, to try to get him to prepare a letter saying that this was an error or whatever. It should have never happened, blah, 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 blah. That would be able to, a letter that you could rely on if it comes to a credit problem or anything like that. So I think that's probably the best you can hope for.
And anything at all happens, please notify us right off the bat before this gets blown out of proportion like it did this time.
Well, I would think the water board would be the people to talk to the lawyer about getting a letter. Because I'm sure they don't really care too much about two idiots that happen to own a piece of property on the end of the street.
So we can get Laura to do that, correct? Laura?
Would that be possible, because I think we'd have more clout coming from...
I should hope you'd have more clout than
Because I
two
was pretty angry with him.
full-timers.
Well, let's think about that. We'll take that under advisement.
Okay, and then you'll let us know either way.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm very sorry about this thing happening to you. This stuff can happen. It's this power that a subcontractor can perform to try to get his money, is to put a lien on.
I just can't believe we can't get the right address. I mean, put a lien on people's property. I
Do they
mean,
do this to other people? I mean,
All the time.
This is ridiculous.
What they don't do is do it on public property. It'd be a while before we would sell that property, right?
If I hadn't realized, I'd have sold it for 10 million rather than 14 million. So
So we'll be waiting to hear from you on the letter and,
Well, we can give you a copy of the letter right now. Where you wanna sign that too? And, this other thing, you know, we can put a cover letter that's saying that this is the evidence that, you know, the contractor, that we are under the impression this contractor paid his bills. In fact, obviously he didn't, or, we don't even know if he did or didn't. This might be something, he might have paid part of his bills, we don't even know, you know, this, we don't know.
We're finding out that he didn't very much.
Yeah. Laura, could you
I'm just gonna
please?
make a copy
make a
for our
copy of that.
file.
and-
Yeah. And I'll give you,
So the board's very sorry that this happened, and hopefully we can straighten all this out, and you don't have a problem down the road.
thank you.
It's the best we can do for you
okay,
at
thank
this
you.
point.
And it's just, you know, this isn't the only issue going on in our life at this time. We have couple other issues that are going on. So it's like a regular person, and then you get smacked. And the main reason that we went to the selectmen and came here is because we're trying to alert the public to be aware that these things can happen to them too.
Yeah, I mean, that all makes sense, you know, so, and, you know, like I say, thank you for putting up with our, construction project. That must be kinda tough for you anyway, so.
Yeah, like we said, we didn't have a problem with them at all.
But if anybody tries to deliver to your address, call Laura right away, let her know so she can take care of it and get a hold of it.
Is that before or
We jump
after
in
I called?
Kingsman and maybe we can squash all this before anything happens like this.
Is that before or after I called the police? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Gene, I will be,
Thanks, Gene.
I guess, all set then, right?
yeah.
Thanks, night.
Thank you.
You gave me the meeting, at least what was out there at the time.
Carol Powers abatement, where is it?
We're gonna take Dave first, if you don't mind.
Sure there's other people in front of me?
No, they're not here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take Dave. Who's Dave? I'm Tim Toomey, this is Roy Ricker, and this is Stu Dorville.
how you doing?
John Rezer is our superintendent.
Hey.
What can we do to help you tonight?
My most recent bill, when it came in, was unusually high, it was about 30,000 gallons. And looking at and I went back and looked over our 4-year history, because I budget for our family pretty closely. We've never gone over and even as high. There was one month where we hit 21,000, but we had just had the yard hydro seeded and we're doing, 3 to 8 times a day, that kind of thing. But normally we never break 17, 18,000 in a month. I mean, that's a max in the summer. Just thought it was really, really high and unusual. We have an irrigation system, but it runs on a timer and, shouldn't have any issues. So Laura and I have been very helpful in pulling some meter readings for us and sending me some of the, the bar graphs, et cetera. And there's I don't know what else to call it other than an anomaly on July 6th and 7th, where it looks like we had from about 3:30 in the afternoon until about 11:30 the next morning, consistent usage of about 550 gallons an hour. What's really unusual about that is we were away in New Hampshire at a friend's house. That was 4th of July weekend, and we got home Sunday afternoon of that weekend. We were gone from, I think, July 3rd until the afternoon of the 7th. It's just a strange spike for about, 20, 21 hours.
Yeah,
And at a rate of 550 gallons an hour, which seemed pretty high to me. So I don't know how to explain it.
550 gallons an hour, how many is that per minute?
9.
It's the finance committee.
It was my turn last
I was
time.
gonna give my cousin
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Did we have the meter?
Jump right in.
We did. And the meter came back?
Oh, no, we didn't test this meter, Roy. I mean, that's an option the board could vote on.
Usually
It came back
we
down.
test the meter, correct?
What's that?
Well, usually we go out and do a data log.
And then when it came back down, like Glenn said, you know, it's just something happened while they weren't home.
Yeah, when you look at the other dates, I mean, we had took some sample,
Right.
random sampling
It was
dates, and I went through it, and I'm very good at, okay, when there's rain, I shut our system off.
So you have a sprinkler system?
Yeah.
Do you have a pool?
We do, but, and I even found there was one day, July 19th, where it was the only day I added water, and I knew because we had my wife's family over, and I can see the spike for about 200, 250 gallons. I mean, I can explain every spike on the random days that we pull. We walk through it.
You have any neighbors with pools?
One side of me.
Close enough for the guy doors reaches?
You know, it's funny. I said this before. I'm a new pool owner, and I've been out on the, because we've had problems. The installer really did a number on us, and I've been on these chat boards and I've read posts about that. I didn't think it was possible, but yeah.
Oh, it happens.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did happen in his neighborhood though.
I,
No, I can't imagine.
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know. So I don't know how else to explain it. And then, I mean, it's an anomaly of about 10,000 gallons.
See, what we've done in the past, and in the more recent past, is that if we knew that someone had a leak,
Yeah.
and it was unavoidable, there was no reason that that person caused that leak, and it was one of those unfortunate events
Sure.
that do happen, and that person, it gets really expensive when they start jumping on it and they take care of their leak right off the bat.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll find the leak because they have a big wet spot in their lawn or driveway that they know something's up, or they hear the water running, or it might be a toilet leak or something like that. They address it, and we're more forgiving for something like that. So there's nothing we can tie this into. I'm not sure. It sounds like it could be maybe a meter glitch. I don't know how
Is
that.
it possible, Glenn, for a meter to do something like that?
I'd never say never, but it's not likely.
I mean the readings and
Not likely for it to come back.
yeah, no, and I was just gonna say, I mean, I realize this isn't helping my
I think we should
but
send a
when I
meter
look-
out,
When I
now
look
check
at the
the-
dates after that, the spikes and the
Good, but
lows
you won't find anything.
look justifiable, so
I know.
I don't know.
I think we should give this gentleman a benefit of the doubt. 2 days here, it's spiked up there, all like that. Average it out.
Well, I mean, it's the board's decision. It's the, 2 out of 3 votes.
I didn't give it to Susan.
Stu thinks we should forgive this glitch.
Go back to the average, is that what you're saying?
Average it out, because
Jake, can you just sign
it just,
that?
it just 2 days here, right?
That's all it was the 2 days?
Yeah, the spike is on July 6th and 7th, and it runs for about a 21 hour period. I don't know if you have these.
And you weren't home?
No, we were in Wakefield, New Hampshire, and I can provide proof of that. We were my friends.
Unbelievable.
Late night.
You didn't have anybody watching the dog, or?
We take the dogs with us. Yeah.
Because we had another instance that somebody had somebody watching their dog for a week,
Yep.
and
They
they
left
turned the hose
something
on for the dog and left.
No, we take all 7 paws of our dogs with us. We got 3 little ones. Who you met?
Yes.
See, I'd be more inclined to recommend a forgiveness of this. If, you had a break and, it was unfortunate you didn't have any, but it's hard for us to say that, somebody didn't leave the hose on or whatever and didn't tell you that they turned it off when they got home. You know, I'm not saying that happened.
Sure. No, I totally hear. I would just think I would notice 10,000 gallons somewhere.
Oh,
Over
I know.
one day. 10,000 gallons would probably flood out my backyard.
I know, but we've had instances where, very similar that,
Why don't we, I'll make a motion that we hold this till our next meeting and, not charge him any extra or let him lose his discount and this kind of stuff and let the three of us think about what we want to do here. Is that fair enough?
You want to take it under advisement?
Well, yes, take it under advisement till our next meeting and the three of us can look it over and kind of decide what we want to do, is what I'm saying.
I'll go along with that.
okay. Let's do that.
So what do I do with my bill in the meantime? I just want to make sure I pay whatever I need to.
Well, that's what I'm saying, so you don't
We
lose
talked
your,
about that on
No.
email.
so you don't lose your discount,
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't want to have
All
an
right.
issue with my bill, right?
Give us a week or till our next meeting, I don't know if we
Okay.
have one next week or the week after.
Okay.
But, and let us just kind of think it over and talk about it.
Okay. Alright.
But are we gonna charge you any extra interest because of this
That's what I
situation, what
want
I'm
to have.
saying?
Yeah. Okay. Alright.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair. Yep. I guess I'll wait to hear
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you,
Okay.
Dave.
Well, you have, David, when you go to Wakefield, New Hampshire, you hate to come back.
Well, I
Nice
hate to
and
come
quiet.
back and find a water bill with 10,000 gallons on it, I'll tell you that much.
I know.
So, okay, well, thank you for,
We'll talk about it again.
great. All right, thank you for hearing me out. And,
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
All right, thank you for your help.
Okay. Tim, do you want to take your interview first, and then we'll come back to the abatement?
Yeah, that sounds good. We don't wanna
Okay,
hold
come
it.
on in. Okay, I'll sit up. Okay. Running a little behind here tonight.
You, Christine?
I am.
I'm Tim Tillman.
Hi, Tim, nice to
Nice to
meet you.
meet you. This is Stewie Dalzell.
Hey, Christine.
Hi, nice to meet you.
This is Roy.
Hi, everyone, nice to meet you.
So you're interested in the administrative assistant position?
Yes, yeah,
Thank you for coming in tonight.
sure.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you did in the last, say, 5 years?
Well, I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 7 years, I would say. I just went back to work May, or actually September of last year. And I was working in the home before for Woodbury Electric. And then we went through a separation, so I moved out and needed to find another job outside of the home. So that's when I first started working for Unishippers, and I've been here just about a year now.
Unishippers. Where are they at?
By Adagio on Route 1. It's upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a logistics shipping company.
What do they do there?
It's pretty much, most of it's just a call center where, which is not the department I work in, but if companies wanted to ship something, they would call Unishippers and you would get the best price for them and have the company go pick up whatever they wanted to ship
Yeah.
and ship it out so they get a discounted rate.
Okay. Woodbury Electric.
Yes,
Where are they at?
Newbury Road. He runs it out of his house.
Yeah.
And I did everything there for, just all the office, whatever, I took care of the insurances, the invoicing, reconciling, doing the bills. Everything except for electrical work.
So you presently going to school or?
North Shore, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an ongoing, I'll always be taking classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the job would entail working primarily for underneath Laura, help her with running the office, the business, and then, getting, collecting money,
Mhm.
answering the phone, and maybe
Yeah.
some, minor tasks and everything,
Okay.
so. What would you be looking for a salary?
At least 16 an hour.
Okay, and then, you folks have any questions? John?
You volunteer down to Pine Grove.
I do, yeah. I was actually the treasurer down there for 2 years. My term just ended last year. So I just did that, and I'm a Boy Scout leader also, co-leader, I should say.
So what do you work with George Grushenko or?
No, well, George is the head guy, but it's Craig Monroe right now is the Cub Master.
Okay, so you're with the Cub Scouts or?
Yeah, the Cub Scouts, yeah. My
Okay.
son is, what is he now? He's a bear. He just became a bear.
Oh, wow.
So he's got a couple more years and he'll be a legal animal off to the next, the next level. Yep. It's fun times. It's a good time.
Yeah, when my son took it, it was a fellow named Terry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
His wife was Terry.
Terry?
Yeah, yeah. Nice. We did a lot of
That's
good
easy.
jobs with them. But, that's a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you guys can't think, how about you, Laura? Do you have any questions?
No, I think, she has a rounded background here. And all the skills that she needs in this
Mhm.
position.
How's your typing skills?
I can do it pretty fast. I'm really good. Yeah. I didn't say so.
Okay.
Writing letters.
Yeah. You typing letters or you writing letters?
I know what that
Typing, okay. You never know.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in.
Okay, absolutely. Well, thank you. You guys have a good night.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Christine.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, great. All right, thank you. Good night.
Well, we'll talk about it later on, but is there any other people coming in for an interview?
The application we received today didn't have enough experience.
Okay,
So Amy had to hold on that one.
okay. All right, so we have 4 candidates. We'll talk at the end of the meeting on that issue. Next thing is Carol Powers abatement. Do we have anything in the package for that?
Yeah, they're all in that, the red package
red-
there, yeah. I tried to separate, there's a lot of stuff in the package today.
All right, John, what's the scoop?
I did go out and do the dam water. And it showed that the daily spike there on 6/9/2013. But, never really found a leak.
Well, this is the same problem that the gentleman had that just left here.
Right.
It's the same situation, so what we do for one, we have to do for the other. So would you like to take this under advisement and settle these two at the next meeting that we did for the gentleman that just left?
Okay, so let's get the details here. The past month usage for May had been 2,310 over the last year. Is that an average, John?
No, that's an actual read, 10.
Past usage was 4,180. Most recent bill showed a water usage of 22,594 gallons. I have no water running, no pool, no septic problems, and no water has been seen on the street. I do not understand an unprecedented increase in usage. I strongly believe there is an error in the meter and somewhere else in the system. I cannot pay $300 a month for water, obviously, especially water I'm not using. All right, so did anybody go out there?
It's the address.
95 Hazel Street.
Yeah.
This is that one.
So she's a real light user until the 13th and the 14th, no, the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then went right back down to nothing.
Right.
$6,570 was the peak on a day. Larry, how many gallons a minute is that?
I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Six.
Yeah.
We mentioned she wasn't there, or she was there, and never showed up on
Sorry.
the schedule.
6,570 divided by, was it 1,440 minutes?
Five.
4.5.
Gallons a minute? And so, did anybody go out there? Harry asked that, didn't I?
Yeah.
So did somebody go out there, what did they find?
Didn't find anything leaking that I know of. Just did the dam water.
And what's the data logger?
Huh?
What's the data logger?
That's,
Yeah, that's, you you plug in there, you get when the spike happened, right?
right. It shows the data, it's right.
Now, did anybody,
You get 90 days of data.
Why did we, John, set a time at 2 o'clock to go and see it, and we never showed up that day? But she was,
She had the wrong day, right? Or we
Okay.
had miscommunicated the day that day.
okay.
And there's another email apologizing for that. And
Okay.
it's attached.
well, when you see a trend like this, it says to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that somebody left something on for a couple of days, didn't realize it.
Well, it's the same situation as the man up Wilson Pond
You know?
Road. They have to be treated the same.
Glenn, any input?
I didn't go out to that, but looking at the data, looks like the hose was running. 4.5 to 5 gallons a minute,
Is that what the hose equals to? I mean,
depending on what your pressure is.
We're pushing how many gallons a minute?
Hmm?
How much, typically, how many gallons a minute are we pushing this? We did this exercise about 3 weeks ago, John. How many gallons a minute are we pushing now with all this pressure?
Well, I mean, there's variables there. It's-
Well, every one of these houses should have its own pressure regulator too, so these should be running 40 to 60 pounds.
Okay, so they're dropping it down, so that 4.5 gallons a minute is realistic for a hose being on, as opposed to my house. That thing was left running to be about 12 gallons a minute, right?
You run about 100 pounds at the sill.
So let's take it under advisement, and we're gonna have to make a decision on this, and come up with some kind of a fair policy.
yeah, but I mean, we get what, 4 or 5 in there, so I mean, we gotta,
They all spikes like this?
I don't know. you know.
One lady, her toilet was broken while she was waiting for the pump, laying on School Street.
Now, that's something different, so she had a toilet broken, couldn't get a hold of a plumber, right? What's this one? Let's move on, we're gonna table, who's the guy we just did?
Maybe Dominic.
Ondick.
Number 6.
David Ondick, and this one we just talked about is Carol
Yeah.
Powers.
Yes.
All right, so the next one is,
This is Lane Weed,
Wayne Lee,
yeah.
is that this one here?
I have a problem.
Like School
with
Street,
this one.
13 School Street.
This one goes on mine.
I mean, I can see her point. I mean, we all know what it's like trying to get a plumber out. She noticed the leak, she tried to get a plumber, I mean, what did she do, you know?
Well, it spiked up on the 6th of July. And it shot back down on the 5th of August. That's a full month.
She received our bill that day, 10.
Yeah, so she received the bill and
This is
says,
the
oh,
Yeah, the good part of monthly billing
Yeah.
is, people don't realize.
yeah, they know now, so. See, I can see, and then she fixed it right away. I'm inclined to give her an abatement to average out that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm not against it, I respectfully request that you're all treated the same.
Well, I mean, this one here, so he's a little bit different than, I mean, she realized she had a problem, she tried to get taken care of her, as soon as she found out she had a problem.
You can hear your toilet running.
It might not have been that, or it might have been, maybe she's got a hearing problem still. See, there's 100 things. But the thing is, as soon as she got the bill, she kind of woke up or said something wrong
She
here.
jumped right on and took care of it the way I look at it.
Okay, so we get an abatement for that one. Next one is who? Frank Davida. 5 Toe Bridge Circle. Where's the graph, is it here? Okay, what did you find out there, John?
There's no link at this one.
That was continuously.
This was a continuous one? Oh, it wasn't good.
If it's continuous, Glenn, how is it, how come it's going up and down like a roller coaster?
Because the up and down is his irrigation system. The continuous small amounts every day. When we went there and checked the meter, it was running at 0.08 gallons a minute, like the toilet was leaking. I had him shut off the inside valve in the house, the cellar valve, to make sure that it wasn't leaking between the meter and the house. And it went to 0 and it stayed there through 3 cycles, so I don't believe there's any leak between the meter and the house. And then he was gonna look in and check his toilets and such, because that's usually what it would be. Would be a toilet overflowing or a flapper.
So we shut it off inside the house.
Mhm.
We had no leak whatsoever.
Correct.
At the meter box, he's got a meter box, is that correct?
Yeah, he's got a meter pit.
And,
Because that's always the worry we have with a meter pit, is that there's a leak between
From the
pit
street to
and
the house.
And with him shutting the valve off inside the house, he came in while we were doing the data logger. And so he went in and shut it off.
So there's definitely a leak in his house.
First, he went in to check and see if anybody else was home that could have just flushed the toilet and caused the water to run. And nobody was home, so then he shut the valve to make sure that it was not between the meter and the house. So it's in the house, it was in the house. I think Rob's been out since, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't have notes on that, Glenn.
Whether,
Just,
He's been out to look at the meter to see if if there was still any flow.
Do we know if he's contacted a plumber to try and fix a problem inside the house or anything? I mean, is he
I don't know.
trying to help himself?
I
what I'm
did the
saying?
data logger and that was the end of
yeah.
it. Printed the graph and gave it to Laura, we've been doing other things. He doesn't mention, I haven't found any leak or anything in the
Well, this
house.
is still kind of ongoing. Roy, we've been working on this as of last week. We were out there on the 21st, Glenn, so, you know, it's,
Yeah. This comes under the things that should.
yeah.
Mhm. So we cancel out, there's nothing wrong with the meter. And he does have a leak.
Does he have a leak in his toilets, or does he have a leak in his sprinkler system?
Don't know. I know it's not between the meter and the house.
What I'm saying is I'd like to see if he's done anything about it to try and correct the problem.
It looks like he has, Roy. I think what he was talking about was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days there. No, he's not arguing that he doesn't use irrigation. He just didn't use it during that period of time.
They all say
And
that.
that's, well, I think, you know, the crew went out there right away again. A couple of
It
times.
sounds, it looks to me like it's sprinkler usage. Or it's sprinkler usage for a leaky sprinkler, I don't know. Is that possible?
Yeah, the head could have,
It's very possible.
So if he's got sprinklers, what would a tip, I hate this, you can't generalize some of this stuff, but
You don't, you can't.
No, but I mean, some of these people get sprinklers, they want the lawn to look like a golf course. And then they come back to us when they see the bill and they want us to take care of it. I mean, it ain't right, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
well, since
He
this
he
is,
had a leak that wasn't his sprinklers.
It wasn't in the sprinklers.
His sprinklers weren't sprinkling that low an amount. It could have been a leak in the sprinkler system. It could have been a leak in a toilet. We didn't go in the house. I didn't go in the house.
No, I'm just saying, you know, the people, you know, nothing against them, they wanna have a nice fancy looking lawn. Some of them want to, they gotta pay for it, but I'm saying.
And when you look at consistent spikes, they're usually irrigation systems. But this continuous flow down the bottom is usually a small leak. As opposed to something like this that is very low flow and then goes to zero in the middle of the night. Goes down to zeros. There's no leak. See, there's hours that there's no flow at all. And something's left on.
Now, does that show us the time of day that it's like,
We can do the time of day.
well, what I'm saying is like, you know, early tomorrow, we'll have the sprinklers come on at 4, 5 o'clock. Can that show that?
Yeah, where's Dave's? Is his in here?
yeah, it's the second one now. No, that's not.
There's many of them.
Here's one, I'm sorry, here's one right here. That's Dave's, one of his
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, these are his days, and these are his zones coming on. This would be his afternoon flow, his evening flow. And then his irrigation flow be late night, 12:30. But it runs consistently from day to day. This is the second day.
Those are just, random days.
So this is, yeah, this is August 18th. This is August 18th, the same day.
I'm sorry, I had the 20th somewhere.
Okay, so that's it right there.
This is one we were just looking at. I was looking to see if we had one of the days picked out of that, and we don't.
Okay, so we got this trend, and it looks like there's a lot of events there. And it's a span of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3 months?
Yeah,
May,
90
June,
days.
July, and August. And they go up and up and up and down and up and down. And then he normally, without running whatever this caused this spike, he's doing about 220 a day. That doesn't sound too abnormal. That sounds like somebody's taking a lot of showers, or might have kids or whatever, right?
I don't think there's any kids in the house continuously.
Okay.
They're like me, their grandparents that have the kids in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So do you feel this is from sprinklers?
Most of that's from the sprinklers, but he did have a continuous leak.
But it could still be in a sprinkler head.
It could be
Going
a
down.
sprinkler head.
Even though the sprinklers aren't on, it could be the line going to this head, correct?
To find out is to go shut off the sprinkler system. I told him to go check all of his toilets, and like I said, I think Rob's been out there once since,
Okay.
and
Do we know if he shut the sprinkler system off or is it?
I do not know.
What was this trend before this, the sprinkler season arrived?
He was using about 5,000 gallons a month, small usage. Typical, two person with some visitors.
Okay. Did he come in May?
In May, his bill was for 5,000 gallons. In June, it started going up, and then in July, it went up
To what?
to the 24,000 gallons for the
Okay.
month. And that's when he called, or
Sounds to me
emailed
like a
us.
sprinkler problem.
Well,
Okay.
he's got a leak. We told him what was the date we told this guy?
So he emailed, the emails are attached.
Yeah,
He emailed August 15th at 7 o'clock in the morning and was questioning the outrageous amount of water being used.
when did we tell him we think he has a leak?
Okay, so then we went out the next, let's see, sorry about that. On August 15th, we set up a time, and then on August 20th, we got out there.
Okay, so
A couple
Just
of
the last
days to
couple
get
of
out.
weeks,
Yeah,
he's
this
been
is
told
ongoing.
we think he has a leak. John, can you give him a call tomorrow and say, the board thinks you have a leak, can you check into it? And then let's table this one until the next thing, so we can figure out if he's, fits in that category that I seem to be gravitating toward, is if he's got a leak and he finds out he has a leak, then I think he'd be entitled to some forgiveness of this, this usage. Does anyone have any objections to that? So do you think you can call him up tomorrow, John, and say, do you think you have a leak?
It sounds like maybe you should shut off the sprinkler and see if there's still got a leak thing going on.
We should have a guy come out there that knows what he's doing.
No, but what I'm saying is when we come up with, shut the thing off, if it's not leaking by, then turn the sprinkler back on. If the sprinkler's leaking, I don't see why we should have to take care of it.
Well, if he's,
That's my opinion.
I think if he's got a leak and he's just finding out, oh, geez, my bill is kind of really exorbitant, I really didn't realize I had a leak, and thank you for telling me, and I addressed it, and the leak's gone now, then I don't have a problem next time maybe recommending that we forgive him with an abatement. Does that sound like a game plan? No comment? What's plan B? Tell me what you guys want to do.
I just, this bad here, it bothers me.
I know. It bothers me too.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. Now, whatever else you guys want to do, I'm just gonna look.
So this other thing here, 220 during the normal use of a day for two people, is that kind of high?
It's on the top end for two people. Septic systems are designed for 110 gallons per person per day, and that's using a lot of water.
Okay.
DEP wants us down to 65 gallons per person per day, and I don't know what your average per capita usage is here yet. But 60 to 70 gallons per person per day is pretty normal. 210, it's high. And I think a lot of that is you got a tenth of a gallon a minute.
Stu, what do you think?
Going someplace. $100 to 125 gallons a day, if that usage could be just that leak.
Was there any other service we could provide this guy that's within our ability?
Yeah, if we had some time, we could go out there and, biggest problem with his is it's meter pit, so we have to open it up. But if we made an appointment with him to go out and had him shut down his sprinkler system, then we'd know whether it was a leak out in his sprinkler system or whether it was a leak internal in the house.
Okay.
I think that should be the next step.
If he would shut his sprinkler system off for a few days, we can run a data logger, and then we can run the hourly on the data logger and see what the difference looks like. Because if it's not leaking, it should show zero flow during the nighttime hours, or at least for some hours, with only 2 hours.
Okay.
Don't they have, Glenn, any kind of a thing for, so then we get quite a few of these with the sprinkler problems. There's no valve or anything that if it starts leaking too much, it, shows up something that they can
No, 'cause
solve.
This is just this is drip. The irrigation system wouldn't know whether this was a drip or a drip irrigation.
It seems like we have an awful lot with the irrigation problem.
You do, and a lot of it's programming.
Well, let me ask you this. John, is this bill typical to a guy that has a sprinkler system? Or is it abnormal?
That's difficult to say.
What's typical?
Yeah.
They could have it come on 4
Somebody-
times a day instead of once or twice a day.
Somebody that's got 3 zones with 2 or 3 heads apiece, or somebody that's got 7 zones with 10 heads apiece, they're all different.
I think Glenn's suggestion, go out there and ask him to turn off his sprinkler system for a couple of days.
Yeah, I think I would shut his sprinkler system off for a while.
Well, when you tell him that, we realize that he's potentially got a leak, and we'll help him out with that kind of a service, the troubleshooter for him, but, we're not sure about giving him an abatement at this time. So this has got to be done this week. Do you have time to do that?
No.
Good.
If he can shut it off, it doesn't take long to do the data logger. It takes time to sit there. If he's gonna go shut it off, and we're gonna look and see if it's not leaking while he's there, while we're there. For me to spend an hour out there, which is what really needs to be done, should be done, we don't have it right now.
Okay, so then, he's had plenty of rain this week, so can you call him up,
Yep.
Ask him.
Yep,
Turn
I'll
his-
do it.
I'm sure
I'll
they
do
Turn
it.
his water
And
off.
I think he'll be amenable to it.
Yeah,
In
he's
this
trying
time
to
of
work
year?
with us, he is.
I don't think
Yeah.
it'll be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to help him too.
And this one's an easy pit to get at. It's not one that's buried.
How long has he had a water system like this, Laura?
You know, that's something we don't know.
So
I
we
just
need to
know
ask
that
him
there's
that.
irrigation.
What did this trend look like last year, right?
Well, we know that. We have
we
10
see what the-
years.
How's he look last year with this?
So his average usage,
We can't do these bar graphs back 10 years.
yeah, we weren't doing them, but he
We-
was
we can do
16,000
His monthly,
gallons.
his monthly bill.
Yeah. So this was
The most he
high,
was last year at this time was like
16,
16,000.
and he
Now
used
he's
24.
24.
So, you know, something is going on there.
Okay, so then tell him that.
You know, I think he's trying to work with us too.
Yeah, let's just move on with the subject here
Okay.
and just get, get that thing going, okay?
And the last one, Tim, for Vince.
So we're gonna table that one?
Oh, okay, yeah,
And that was Frank, right?
yeah. And Vincent, the last one is, I just want to get your commission. We abated his bill to the average usage. He did have a leak, but the leak ran into this month's bill. So I didn't want to abate it without your knowledge. It'll be a small abatement for the August bill.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that.
So I'll bring that to the board next time.
You do have a problem? Okay. Stu?
No.
Treatment plant interior colors.
All right, so we have our expert here, Jamie.
Jamie,
We're almost done picking colors. So this is the colors that we already selected.
Yeah, the floor.
This is the colors for the interior office space. And we selected this to be the counter, this is the cabinets. These colors are on the wall, and we're suggesting to go with this rust color for the office space. And the lab is where, the chemical lab is going to be counter, the walls, the cabinets are going to match, and we're going to go with the gray. We're going to keep in the same pattern. You like the red? Like the red?
would,
We eliminated that right away.
He didn't pick that one,
We
did he?
did not pick this color.
No.
I mean, if we use the same colors, does that save us any money for the?
Okay,
the
no,
whole thing?
this is
Okay.
not a change order by any means.
No, I'm just asking if it saves any money.
This is just.
How about blue? Did you pick
So
blue?
we picked blue, you
Good.
know, and we could do the whole floor, all the offices, one color, or we can choose different colors for different offices.
Why don't you do that, mix it up.
Okay.
Whichever's
Which
the
color do you
cheapest,
like?
whichever's the
They're
cheapest.
all the same price.
Mix it up.
All right, so we'll go with Jamie's suggestion.
Yep.
All right, thank you. All right, and then the last one we're going to choose next week is going to be the bathroom colors. We're not ready to talk about that tonight.
Why not?
We're waiting for tile samples. So,
It's an exciting day.
Okay.
and, so exciting choices.
Thank you, Jamie. I hope everybody likes it.
Bill's in the mail.
Call Jamie if you don't like the colors.
Consultant fee.
All right.
Now we're on to our favorite thing, Glenn.
Schedule.
Look at the spring schedule here, where we have a fall schedule too.
It's updated to August 30th.
We're working on the same schedule for a couple of months.
It's everything that didn't get done in the spring.
Everything
Okay,
that didn't get done, you're doing now.
so do we, John, you wanna bring this up to us up to speed on this, or what?
Well, I mean, we're pecking away at it as we can. Still told I was short staffed, but.
What would help us with that?
I would say we need another secondary operator. I'm gonna be on my own again next week. Rob's on vacation,
Yeah.
so I will be a staff of one. We have a seasonal laborer that is very limited duties. If we could bring him on as a full-time laborer, and be able to utilize him as a helper, it would help us a whole lot too. But right now, there are things that need to be done to keep water flowing to the public. Those are the things we're doing. There's things that have to be done for DEP, for the contractor, for people like all of these people that are looking for rebates. Those are things that we have to do that we aren't doing. We're doing the bare minimum to run out and do the data log. That's why I don't have all the information that you're asking for. All we do is we run out, we interrogate the meter. It takes us 3 to 5 minutes to do that. 10 minutes to open the pit and close it. So 15 minutes and we're out of there. To help somebody go through their house, check their toilets for leaks. We don't have guide tablets, but to help them with it, to go through a house, to go through a survey, a leak survey in a house, it takes you 45 minutes. And this guy with the irrigation system to boot and the meter pit just makes it that much more difficult than having a meter in the house.
Which one of these 18 that we have on our list here is top priority?
Top priority is the lead and copper samples, and we've sent out our second wave of letters to try to get the rest of the 40, because we need 40 residential samples this year because of the change from lime to sodium hydroxide. So DEP required that we did 40 samples this year. We've gotten 34 back right now. And we haven't done the schools because we want to wait till the school's back in and they're using some water before we go do their samples. We have through September to get those done.
How many you need?
We're working on them. We need 40 residential.
And you have 34.
We have 34 and we just sent out, I think, 13
Yeah.
or 14 letters.
Additional, yeah.
Well, there's 5 residents right here.
Yeah,
No, you have to be
if your house,
unapproved. It
if your
has to-
house is
yeah.
built between 86 and 90, or 82 and 86, with copper plumbing and lead solder, you're not eligible.
I think my house probably comes under that classification.
Well, Roy, it's an approved list by DEP, you know, and they went through the assessor maps and
Yeah.
we sent that, we've been working on this for a while and
I must have got
We-
one
we
in my
just-
bill,
we
I
just
didn't
can't.
notice it, I just
Yeah.
noticed the bill.
Weston and Sampson put together a list, DEP approved it. I've been going through it because some things have changed since the list got made. Some people have put in filtration systems and DEP doesn't want to see those houses on the list anymore. Some other people that were doing samples aren't doing them anymore. And you can't make somebody do samples, so if they don't want to do a sample for us and they don't do it. So that right now is priority.
No, we take the sample, you just need it in a jar and brought right away, is that how that works?
We have to drop off a sample bottle. We have to fill it with the first water from the tap after 6 hours of not being used. So either it's first water in the morning or some people do first water when they get home in the afternoon. Either way, it just has to sit in the faucet for 6 hours. Fill the liter bottle, set it back out on the step where we dropped it off, and then we've been going around to pick them up. The first day we get a bunch, and then they straggle in, and then we quit going looking, because it just takes too much time for somebody to go looking every day. We send out the letter, we tell them, we still need their sample, call us when it's ready, or drop it off at the office. What we did next door was we had a drop box, and that's one of the things I want to do for next year, is to have an insulated drop box there where we can have people drop off samples on their way by, you know, so that they can drop it off at their convenience.
Right.
The pad for the LP gas tank and the LP gas tank has been installed.
Done.
No, partially done. We still have to put the bollards up that you guys just signed the PO for tonight. Those have got to be installed and painted, and then that will be done. The town common hydrant replacement, we've got the hydrant, we've got the pipe. All we need is the manpower and the time. The Warren Gate valves on Independent and Main, those I would categorize as have to be done, but don't need to be done. They're inconvenient because we now have to shut off more of the downtown area.
And that has to be done before
to
cold
change
weather,
that
correct?
hydrant. Doesn't have to be done. It just is less convenient because now instead of shutting down a dozen people, if we have a leak on Summer Street, we gotta shut down Independent and more of Summer Street.
No, but something like that has to be done before cold weather.
Oh, it also has to be done during warm weather,
Yeah.
yes. We're working on getting the irrigation line around the perimeter of the town common with hose bibs, so they'll be able to hook up hoses and water the trees. It's not gonna be a full-blown irrigation system.
We did get a price to have a private company that's in front of you tonight, to do the irrigation. Because I think what John and Glenn need to talk about is the staffing and when that project can be done.
That's not what was agreed on.
So then it's up to these gentlemen to decide how it fits into the schedule.
What was agreed on? Remind me.
The water department would install irrigation for the new trees on the common. And we suggested that you rent a ditch witch instead of a backhoe up there. Wouldn't make much of a mess.
So what happened to that plan?
Well, wasn't that back when we had a full crew? Correct?
You have 3 here now, and I was about to suggest the young man that's a temporary laborer, instead of hiring a secondary operator, hire him as a laborer, full-time, and bring him along.
I agree with you 100%.
And those trees have to have the irrigation, a lot of money tied up there, and the town was promised. And we do have this Rob, this Gene, and this Jerry, and this John, so we do have 4.
What would it take down there, what you gotta have, Glenn?
I've never put it in the irrigation system, but we were looking at just putting in ground boxes for spigots, right? Because that's what they were looking at, we just spigots to hook hoses up
The
to.
ditch witch dig along, and put your spigots in like they do in the cemetery. Come along, blow them out along about October.
Well, we gotta get ground boxes, because you can't have them sticking up out there.
Exactly.
So you gotta get the materials,
Did you water the material, John?
you gotta get the ditch witch,
You gotta find the right
somebody else can
places.
do it cheaper
John,
than we can.
did you get the material?
I haven't been able to find ground boxes.
You mean the suppliers don't carry ground boxes?
I was looking at the EJ Prescott, but the ones they have are big. They're like a meter housing. I have to try and locate some landscape supply.
What do you call it, ground boxes, like a cement thing with meters set in them?
These
No, we have
fiberglass.
fiberglass valve box with a hose. You also have DEP sanitary survey. They're gonna be coming back out within the month.
We have 2 spigots on the common now, so actually what we're doing is adding to it.
Well, how much time would it be to rent a ditch witch and run,
So I was saying, it would buzz right around in no time.
how long would it take?
It'll take you at least a day. And we don't know what we're doing. This guy knows what he's doing, and he can probably do it in a day or less. We still have to do the stations, we still have to check the meters, and Rob's gonna be on vacation for the next weeks.
Where is the bid for that?
The cemetery a few years ago did 1,500 feet. 2 house, the 4, and they banged it right up.
No, I'm just asking, where is the bid that we have for,
It's right there on the table.
Does
John.
cemetery use a ditch witch?
They rented one
Yeah.
from the rental place in Newburyport.
who's that?
It's only
So
$400.
a real problem is
So
manpower.
so 4 guys bang that out in a day?
No, a little longer than a day. They backfilled it with a garden hose. Pull the soil right in, you never know they were there.
What is the bid for the people that come in and do it for us?
I don't know.
I'll say, yeah, well,
Just to get an idea.
and they do everything, this company that, they sent a quote,
Except for tying the backflow preventer to put water to the system.
and how long will something like that take?
That's gotta be done by a licensed plumber, so a licensed plumber,
So you guys don't do it?
half a day, no.
No.
State of Massachusetts says we can't.
No, I'm just asking.
I can test them, I can tell you gotta put them in, or I can't put them in. I can't fix them either. I can tell the guy how to fix
See,
it.
legally, you can't put this in, to this promise we made to this outfit,
We can't put backflow preventer in, no.
so we'd have to hire that out.
Here it is right
This
here.
guy can do it?
1 supervisor and 1 laborer. So that's nothing to it.
He's got materials on that too.
But he also has the machinery.
Right. This guy's right down the street, right? Well, we gotta get 3 quotes if we're gonna go that route, so.
Can I see that?
Do we have enough money in any kind of budget we have access to, or do we just
So
kidding
according
ourselves?
to-
The problem is, go ahead, excuse me.
No, it's okay.
The problem we have, just as soon as those trees are planted, we have to move forward. I mentioned that at the previous meeting 3 weeks ago. The only reason they didn't start last week, it was darn hot for the trees. They wanted some moisture.
Myself, after seeing his price, I'd like to get 2 more quotes, because it seems like this is a lot cheaper if he's supplying all the materials, correct? He's supplying the dish witch,
I disagree.
pipe fittings, clamps, spigots and posts, and the backflow preventer.
He's just putting a sprinkler system in, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, by the time we send 4 guys down there, 3 guys down there, and rent the ditch witch, we're gonna be over that price, aren't we?
He's doing all, we're doing that.
All right,
Those
so,
ditch witches move right along, nothing to them.
No, what I'm saying, for this number here still, we'll get 2 more prices and see if we come close.
We
By
have,
the time we send 3 or 4 guys down there and rent the machine and buy all the fittings and stuff,
we have the help. We're
Well,
paying them
we-
anyway.
we've got so many other projects going on, is what I'm trying to say. It's one less project that these guys gotta worry about.
Thank you, Roy.
I mean, we've got 18 projects that these guys are trying to work on, and it's one off their list.
All I'm saying is, 3 weeks ago, we all agreed, as soon as those trees are planted, and we requested John a lot of the materials. As soon as those trees are planted, come right behind them.
I'd like to make a motion, we get 2 more bids and see what they are.
Then there's a month gone.
Well, you can get some bids.
Where are they planning on putting the trees in?
Is there a plan? Did you give this guy a plan? John?
Yeah.
Did you give him a plan?
Yeah.
That's what he came up with, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
And he can do it this week.
Yeah, well, we can get 3
I know,
quotes. You know,
I know that, you know, I
So-
called 2 other places and nobody can turn. You know, they're shutting down irrigation, this is a very busy time for irrigation people.
Yeah. Well, tell them that if they're interested in working, they gotta come out this week or early next week, so.
Well, today's Tuesday, 10th.
Before our next meeting, and see if we can get 2 more bids, and then we can make a decision then. When are the trees
We
supposed to
don't
be
need
going?
it any day. They're waiting for some moisture, we have the moisture now. So dry, it's
So
so
we're-
like flour because there's no sand down
We're
there.
stuck, and then the other thing is, we can use Jerry, but Jerry can only work on cutting grass, because he's a seasonal labor. So have you checked with downtown about
No, I
switching him
went down there this
to,
afternoon, but it was too late.
okay. So if we want to make Jerry a, more of a laborer, it's a process, and so, we gotta find out what the process is, and we can't do anything other than that. So,
I won't be able to make it tomorrow, but I think I can get it Thursday.
yeah.
Can you give them a hand, John?
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you need to get, you know, either 3 quotes and get this show on the road, or you need to figure out how you can rent something.
How does that
Bring
work if
somebody
she
in.
called 2 people and they were too busy and they can't do it? Does that count as trying to get a quote from them?
Can you rent the ditch witch from this guy with one of their operators and do it without him? But we can't do it next week because we got someone on vacation, we only have 1 guy running our water supply.
And we can't send Jerry down there Friday, I'm gonna be tied up after.
Jerry's a weed whacker.
That's it.
By
So
calling
we
you?
need to get another operator in here right away. Okay. We interviewed how many guys for the operator position, John?
I think there were 2 or 3.
But there were primary candidates that wanted, that would take the secondary operator, so.
Right.
Myself, I'd like to see it too.
You had
What
it
Sue
down.
was just saying. The labor, then we can use them for everything and work his way up, just like Rob did and Ralph did.
Yeah,
You know, and instead of paying $20-something an hour, cheaper, and we've got somebody that we can use for everything, and with
makes
plenty
perfect
of.
sense to me, but they don't.
I know, but I'm just saying that,
People that pay it don't believe it. They think we should have a position that's a union position.
well,
as
I
a
mean,
laborer.
the labor could be a
And
union
then
position,
there's
we
a
talk
process that.
downtown.
You know,
But what I'm saying is, instead of hiring somebody for $20-something an hour, we get somebody for 14 or 15, and use them where we want to use them.
Because right now, we can't use them for much of anything, except keeping up with the grass.
And he's a good worker, and he wants to learn.
And he's doing the brush, and he's trying to clear the fences, which is part of number 6, the DEP sanitary survey, the things that they gigged us on. There's a fence down that needs to be cleared and repaired at well 1. There's a fence down and needs to be cleared at well 3. The fence needs to be cleared, and Jerry's been working on that one at well 2.
Uh-huh.
There's poison ivy that needs to come down at the transmission box at the bottom of Prospect Hill. There's a wooden shed, there's weeds and trees that need to come down on the way up to the tank that all have to be done before winter also.
How's well one fit into all this? I don't understand that. Well one is decommissioned.
Well, one is decommissioned, but it's still on the books as a well, and DEP wants us to have that fence behind well one repaired.
Okay.
It's one of the things they wrote you up for, right?
Right.
Oh,
And we're gonna talk a little bit about well one in town meeting, I believe, for the floor and some other things that need to be done there. We're waiting to get an operator here
yeah.
we're gonna get a long, long list of things that need to be looked at.
Okay, so what we need is we have a staff deficit,
We definitely have a staff.
okay. And we have a budget deficit because we haven't, you can't pay for certain things.
So what I put in your packet tonight is my little accounting package that I've been working on. It's really a draft. So I took what you asked me to do, is take everything in town meeting and make it something you can use. And I did that. So, you know, our budget is rigid. I mean, we have a lot of boxes we have to fall into. So, you know, irrigation systems at the common, we're not in that. The fence at well one was not in there. Hiring Weston and Sampson to cover these couple of months was not in there. You know, so I presented the budget the way it is right now to you, and we'll have to make corrections with the fiscal team and with town meeting articles. That's the only thing this operation is a true utility. And we have things that come up that we have no place to go. And, you know, they're good ideas, they're good intentions, but we have more than 18 things on this list.
I see that.
But you take like the DEP things, I mean, those are mandatory, we have to.
Yes,
correct?
let's-
yes,
let's-
yes.
let's-
Those are coming.
The thing we can't do right now is use our resources to do this water project at the plant, because we don't have enough people yet. We can't use Jerry. So, do we have enough money?
Tim. It's running around the corner with a ditch witch and putting in some tubing, 5 spigots.
We can't do it next week, we only have one guy. Yeah. And he's gotta cover the water system, so he's gotta do that.
Many thousands of dollars in those trees, it's imperative that the water line is in.
So
Do you
we-
have the water line
Then
in the
let's
spigot,
vote on
John,
this,
aside
on
from the
this
waters?
bid here, to hire these people, come in and do it within the next 7 days.
So the water line you can pick up anytime. It's-
About the spigots.
Spigots are just always supplies.
She's called 3 people, one of them was the only one to send the thing back. So why not vote that thing in? And the guy said he'll do it in 7 days. And it's over and done with.
This happens too many times. We get one price to do a job.
So you called 3 people, correct?
I will get, for the next meeting, if the next meeting.
We're gonna have a meeting next Tuesday.
I will try to call some more people, I'll go out. But getting back to Tim's question, where are we paying for this? It's not in our budget. So it has to come out of something else until we can correct this situation. This is,
Do you have any suggestions?
I mean, this is, you know, what they.
Well, I suggest we try to work with where we can buy materials, like we always do. So the materials on this quote, we can just buy from him or whoever. And then we just hire on some labor guys.
And then
So
the $400.
we don't have anybody that, you know, you know, we don't have a labor budget for this kind of thing, so where do we pay for that out of? So, the problem's not gonna be in the materials, it's not gonna be in the rental of the ditch witch, but it's gonna be in the labor.
So this would be a system upgrade. You know, this is gonna be an asset. You know, these are like installing new meters.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna fall into that category. I see it falling into that
Do
category.
we have money in that account to cover that?
So not without a town meeting article, because what the selectmen were asking, the water commission, I heard it pretty loud and clear, the meetings I went to, is they're looking for transparency. They're looking for what they voted at town meeting is what we're doing. You know, there's no flexibility within our budget process for being a nice.
Didn't we have it down though, back at the town meeting, that we was gonna do something at the common?
But our budget was so cut out, and Tim, you said at those meetings with me, we cut $100,000 out of our maintenance line in a couple of hours. I think that meeting went on for 6 or 7 hours without a break.
But all I did is trim the fat.
But this was part of what we would have, I mean, this is the only place we would have gone, Stu, at that, you know, we never had gone to town meeting.
Okay, so let's read through that stuff now.
I could
Let's
go
just
around
look at-
there with a ditch witch in 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
Then you take it back to the rental place. You put your line in and take a couple of garden hose, the hose, and just pull the soil
I
back
know, I
in.
know. So, we have, we can whittle down on like a price for this thing by, you know, just getting the materials ourselves, and we could buy it, like you asked about a spigot pit. These guys are providing it. So you buy it off of him. It's not Ty Sales, it's off of him.
It doesn't say the boxes, it says pipe fittings, clamps, spigots, and posts. The posts
Okay.
will be what the spigots are fastened to.
So we had to provide the boxes, John?
He wasn't planning on using boxes, he had spigots and posts.
He was told boxes.
What does it say, boxes?
He was told boxes, he put down spigot.
Okay, spigots and posts.
So we've got a quote here that doesn't fit the criteria, so.
In other words, the spigots would be above ground fastened to post in that quote. I believe they had some of those boxes wherever it is.
What the point I'm trying to make, Stewie, is we can't do it with the constraints we got without subbing out some of it.
You know,
if not all of it.
I don't care for that word can. You can do anything you set your mind to it. The hardest part's thinking about it. It's not that difficult. It's all sand. It won't hit a stone there.
So it's not that, it's, they got other things here that could be done too.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't want to see $40,000 in trees.
We've got trees
I agree
that are
100%.
coming. But did
That's why I'm
everybody buy
saying.
them? Did everybody buy them?
It's all under contract.
It's already
Yes,
bought 'em. They're coming in, they need water.
exactly. You just hit the nail on the head. That's the bottom line.
The only thing that we could do would be to put hoses out there so they could water them up the hoses.
Got another setup for a meter for a hydrant. They use a hose spigot in each corner.
Right at the meeting, they were promised the water department would take care of this.
I know, I was there.
This is, that was before we lost all the money in the budget and we lost up.
I don't want to hear excuses.
Well, who's gonna go down and do it, Sully? What I'm trying to say. You get a guy that's willing to do it, nobody wants to agree with it.
Not that I don't want to agree with it. You waste time getting your quotes.
When is this supposed to be, when is this supposed to happen?
They were supposed to start the trees 2 weeks ago. But
Are we holding them up?
it's too hot. The trees are coming any day now to do it. They were waiting
Okay.
to cool down, get some moisture. So they're coming any day now, and the water line has to come right behind them. I mentioned that 3 weeks ago at the meeting.
Yeah. So,
That's the least the water department can do for this town after.
well, I don't.
We're here to help one another, it's a
Right.
community.
I realize that, too.
Like
We don't
departments,
have any.
highway up.
We got guys on vacation, where you got the equipment?
Roy, can I speak a minute?
No, father.
Electric department, highway departments, police departments, they all help. We should do our share as a community. And that's not a big thing. Give them some water down.
Well, maybe we get a couple of guys from the highway department to work with the water department. We can get enough guys here.
Is there anybody down the street department that could run this ditch witch?
While we're sitting here arguing, we could have had 50 feet of it done.
Laura, I think it's time you learn how to run a ditch with.
I'm game.
So, another plan is to get the highway department to help us out. So,
Maybe John should go down and see Ron one and see if there's any way we can get.
next week we got one guy that can actually do this, and he's a superintendent. This guy can't be doing it, because he's gotta be watching the water system, gotta make sure everything is running perfectly. So we don't have some extra people to do it. So we're gonna have to make a decision, we're gonna have to rent it out still. But the trouble is, we don't have a place in the budget, we allocated that, let alone any of the, well, the improvement, could be the materials and stuff, so, we're looking at being creative with that, but then you gotta have some people that can run the thing. I think the best solution here is to hire up a ditch witch with an operator from maybe a company like this company here.
Can we do that? Hire a ditch witch with an operator?
I think so.
Again, we go back to needs, need tos, have tos, and want tos. The need tos are gonna take me pretty much half a day, every day.
No, if we get a couple guys from the highway department to come down with your supervision and John's supervision, here we get this thing in before the trees are.
If you can rent a ditch witch with an operator, and you can buy the materials for this guy,
It takes care of one person, you need another person to run the line, you need probably two people to run that line in the hole. Take it off and, take the straps off and start running it, and then you gotta backfill it. So can the guy with the ditch witch backfill? How's that thing work?
I don't know, I've never run
Backflow of the whole guy, works like.
Yeah.
one.
So the guy falls behind it and just pulls the dirt into the hole again.
But 3 or 4 years ago, my two sons and two helpers, like I said, did 1,500 feet over the cemetery like nothing.
Yeah, so that's the game plan, okay? You get somebody with a ditch witch to come in, we'll hire him in. And this is like a capital improvement. Laura?
Okay, I'm
We get somebody
listening.
from the highway department to help.
And then get somebody from the highway to help with the hose and setting the thing in. John, you're gonna be out there with the plans, okay? This guy's gonna be watching the water system maybe?
Get
I don't
those,
wanna run the place for you.
So it's just a matter of hooking into
get this
the main, or is that hooking into, what do you have to hook into for the water supply?
We've got a spigot out there right now.
So you can hook into that.
And we have to get the water, the plumbing inspector involved.
get the spigots in there,
Right.
We gotta get the plumbing inspector
and pad
involved,
the two together.
and you can put the boxes in anytime.
okay? So That's the catalyst of a successful project. You guys know?
Sure.
There's a yes over there.
John?
I have need to do's that I'll come down and help with what you want to do.
I want you to take care of the water system.
That's what I say. There are needs to do's, the have to do's we can put aside for a little while, and the want to do's we'll try to get it done.
I appreciate that, Glenn. All you can do is the best you can. You really
Okay.
have to.
That's all we can do.
I don't want to see one quote. It's something else.
And I would just do this this afternoon.
Okay.
We're trying to get an idea.
We'll come up with a beautiful excuse why you couldn't get a second one or a third one. But I want to see all the effort.
Can you take care of the spigots and the pipe? Have it on there.
First thing we did was gonna see if we get Ron
I'd call
to
this.
give us a couple of days,
Let them
but
coordinate it.
then call them and,
Let them coordinate it.
no, I'm just saying.
All we're,
John gets it out,
all
see
we're,
Ron.
I know, but all we're not gonna get involved with the nitty gritty. All we're agreeing on is that we're gonna ask him to tell her to pay for a ditch witch and an operator.
Okay.
End the conversation. When the trees need water, they need to be doing it. So, we promised him,
Next in
Stewie
line.
brought it up with him 3 weeks ago. We're still talking about it tonight. You don't wanna get me going, right? So,
We could have been, while we're talking, we could have been down one side.
okay, point well taken, thank you,
You
Stewie.
should have brought your ditch witch, Stewie, and we could have gone down tonight and done it.
The headlights on our
As
helmets.
a matter of fact, it's probably the best
All
time
right,
to do
so-
it, the way the weather's been.
Oh, yeah.
Any,
Overtime.
Overtime, yeah.
Glenn, is there anything else here on the schedule that we should be well aware of? Where do we end off here with the
The sanitary survey from DEP, they came in and I guess they did a precursory walkthrough and gave you a list of
Yeah.
the length of your arm of things that need to be addressed. And they're coming through within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and they're gonna give you a list that's as long as both your legs.
okay,
I know the guy.
so we're losing Rob next week.
We're losing Rob.
Can we
next
bring
week.
back,
We're losing
Paul.
Jerry in 3 weeks,
I know,
too.
that's, we can't do anything about that.
I know,
Unless he
I'm
can
just- I know.
make that happen downtown, okay? So that's the problem, okay?
Yes, we can bring back.
Can we
Paul.
bring back Paul or somebody like Paul
So that's another issue for the budget.
for to cover
Yes.
next week when Rob's on vacation? It would help
Right.
out.
What does that involve, what you gotta do for this sanitary survey thing?
Well, once Jerry gets the fences cleared, we gotta get the fences taken care of. I haven't even looked at the sanitary survey. He's gonna go around, he's gonna check off everything that's in the stations. We've gotta sit down and do safety gear before he comes in.
We're working on this.
I mean, is this something they're gonna come in and fine us per day if it isn't done
They're
at
gonna
a
write
certain
us,
date?
you do this every 3 years, right, Glenn? This is
Yeah.
not anything new to you, okay? This is start of DEP's rules and regs. We do this every 3 years. So I pulled out 3 years ago what was on the list, and I started there and added after, spending a lot of time this winter with DEP. They told me things that needed to be addressed before they got here. So we wouldn't get written up. So we started to approach that at town meeting. There's town meeting articles. We have the funds. I just gotta sit down with Glenn and start ordering, the safety equipment, the fences, this is all part of it.
Now, let's get on it before we have a fine.
Yeah, well, this is the start of this conversation.
Getting back to, we're gonna get some help in here right away.
We need help.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna either hire, is Paul still working over in Georgetown or is he?
Yes,
Yeah.
Weston Sampson is over in Georgetown.
Okay. But we usually bring Paul in for 4 hours. Is there anybody that we can bring in temporarily, full-time, to cover the secondary operator position?
Next week?
like next week, that's not working, that could be.
I'm
you know,
sure
working-
Weston and
They
Sampson.
can bring somebody in temporarily. Weston Sampson's a 4-hour.
Why don't you check and see if any of those people that you already weeded through are still interested?
On a temporary basis, is that what you're saying?
No, on a permanent basis. We'll muddle through next week.
Well, we wanted to take a little bit small steps before we hired somebody permanently. I'm just saying, get somebody in here right away until we decide to get a permanent position going in.
And we'll that John guy that we used, is that something that he can be doing? John Graves, no? That John Hills Graves, is that something that we can?
See, some of these guys are gonna want a permanent
Yeah.
position. They were not gonna move from one.
No, I was just thinking, you know, for something on this idea here. You know, we had-
I think we can hire somebody a temporary position without going through too much.
I wonder if there's
Or
somebody
do-
that's retired recently that would want to come in on a temporary basis.
I know somebody could do it, but they'll be working in the afternoons, so. But they'll have to work in the afternoons, not the mornings. So. You need somebody to come in here for 8 hours to make an impact on your needs, right? Or we could hire somebody up sooner rather than later, but, so, we're talking next Tuesday night. You guys wanna think about this and bring it up with us by next Tuesday night? Do you have time to pull all the resumes out, so?
So I think,
Well, you had it weeded down to.
I think what we really need, or, you know, what John really needs is really direction from the board. Sure, I think we can hire temporary staff in here tomorrow. We've done it. But I'm sure that's not, you know, the direction of the board. They, you know, they're gonna charge a lot of money.
See, we could bring in Weston and Sampson, and that would cost a lot of money, because we only could afford them for 4 hours a day, so we have to make a decision on either hiring a secondary operator right off the bat, or bringing somebody in temporarily, so we can spend some more time thinking about getting a secondary operator, so. The secondary operator is going to have a D2, T1 license at this point, right?
D1 at this point.
D1? Okay, so D1, T1 at this point.
That's because the plant's not online, so.
Right.
And so we advertise this position, I believe, until filled. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
And I think you had some good people that you were interested in, the days that I sat here.
Do we have the appropriation for that?
For the secondary operator, yes.
I think we should bring the part-time laborer. Give him a shot.
That's a position change. That's a union position. We gotta, get through the process with that.
You don't have a full-time laborer in the.
We did.
in
We
the-
don't have it anymore.
You don't.
We have.
Is there any way-
Superintendent, we have a primer and 2 secondary, and a seasonal labor.
Is there any way that we can hire, in other words, I went and saw them, we hire a full-time laborer like him without going to town meeting, or it has to go to town
So-
meeting before that can be done?
My gut feeling was that has to go to town meeting. And you have to add to the appropriation or transfer from one position to the
Can something like that
next.
be taken out of what we have for the The
So-
secondary to that or not?
So we've been funding a secondary operator now for 2 months, and we haven't hired that. So there is money in that line that can be you can still hire your secondary and transfer the difference from the secondary to the seasonal laborer, but that is a town meeting.
It's not something that can be done downtown hall. It has to go to town meeting
I
floor.
think that Debbie Egan is, the expert here, not me. But I think, like Stu said, anything is possible. I think what
I think
we,
it has to go to a town meeting.
yeah, we would
What was
have.
that, Larry?
I think it has to go to a town meeting.
Because it's not an approved position.
Right, it's a non-existent position. You're creating a new
It's
position.
just, you hire somebody for $10 an hour, less money is what I'm saying. It would actually be saving
I
us money.
understand, but
You know?
logic doesn't always work.
Yeah, it's my understanding that, if we want to bring in Jerry as a laborer for the water department, as opposed to a seasonal laborer, a seasonal worker, then it would have been something we should have done the last town meeting, or it's this next town meeting. It's not the special meeting, I don't think, because we already worked on the budget for fiscal year 14.
But I see it
For those
being a
positions.
transfer, we're not
So-
raising rates to fund that position. If
We
it's
transfer it from the secondary,
a secondary operator wage line to a laborer. The laborer position is a already approved union position. The board's choice was not to fund that because at the time, we didn't think we needed that position. We felt we needed a secondary operator. More, to give, like, the situation we're in right now is just having two people, one's out, you're relying on one person.
exactly.
So to have that other backup for the
We did
secondary.
have this happen in the last 6 months, that we had Weston Sampson bring a second person in.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so, we knew this was gonna happen. One of these guys wanted to go on a vacation. to take a
That's why
week
we
off.
wanted the 2 secondaries.
Exactly. So what we need to do is whether we need to get that going real soon. So, I wouldn't have a problem with hiring somebody Monday or Tuesday night next week.
Okay. A temporary person.
No, even a permanent
Oh,
person.
so I should
But
call?
Stewie is one of the board members. He says he wants to take baby steps. Roy, how do you feel?
How about, just a suggestion, if Laura could call down, talk to Deb tomorrow. Maybe even if I took a Thursday morning off and you and I go down and talk to her, explain what we're trying to do,
Okay.
and find out by then, so we'll know for the next meeting. Is that possible, or? Instead of hiring somebody for 25, we're hiring somebody.
Well, why
for
don't you find out
15.
and then tell us, or should we be prepared to hire somebody next Tuesday
Well, we
night?
need somebody right away, is what I'm saying. We can't wait 6 months.
And then, to get somebody good, he's probably already working, so it'll be 2 weeks before he'll come in. So it's a whole gambit of stuff.
I mean, we've got the money there, it's just transferring it from somebody we haven't hired.
There's no transfers. Unless,
I thought you said there was.
You can, but you gotta go to this fall meeting, that's 2 months out.
So that's not until November 4th?
It's November 4th. It's
So
like,
Jerry,
it's like the computer program that we were gonna go just get and straighten all our computer needs out. Can't do it until November. So it's just, we were running real lean in this last budget determination to keep the rates down, and we did. But right now, we're short-ended right now. So the options we can do right now are to hire or fill that secondary operator position. And hopefully he'll have a CDL, or he can operate a vehicle, operate a backhoe too, so,
So it would be nice to get somebody with a CDL.
okay? So that's the option, or we can hire somebody temporarily to fill that position until we can fill the position permanently. But it's gotta be a temporary position. And so everybody's gotta realize that temporary means temporary, and there's an endpoint there. So if we can find somebody that's qualified by next Tuesday night, I don't have a problem with hiring somebody to fill that secondary operator position. Or if we find somebody that's decent, that's willing to work on a temporary basis, full-time, I don't have a problem with that either. They can work immediately, not 2 weeks out, but, you know, get them on here as soon as possible. So,
At least get somebody in temporary to do stations and such. Is that what you're thinking?
whatever, because we, you know, before we had to hire out this thing at a real premium cost.
Yeah.
Now we're just, we gotta get something in here, because of what, you know, Rob is taking a vacation, so, you know, it leaves you one guy.
What do you
Get the
say?
climate project.
What are you suggesting? 60 days, 90 days? You can say temporary.
It could be much as 9 months. 9 months is a probationary period for the town.
I have no problem with it. Glenn needs help, there's no doubt about it. He needs it right away.
So the game plan is
I just,
temporary, permanent, next Tuesday night. Hire him. If the person is available, we've got some candidates that we interviewed already. We gotta work fast on it, you gotta check the references, blah, 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 and get that thing done. You
Most
gotta-
of them already had the query check and stuff, right?
I don't know,
Didn't they? I believe.
I don't know.
I still like the idea of giving the laborer a shot,
Oh, I love them,
putting him on.
but I mean, if every time meeting floor,
Well, he's gonna find out about that Thursday and see if that, what's the mechanism.
Did we lose him September 15th,
No, October.
October?
So that's what, we were looking at where Jerry was gonna be for the next 3, 4 weeks. And
He does realize he's not getting unemployment this time, right?
I do, you know, I never talked to him about that.
The temporary thing, no unemployment.
When's he through the 1st of October?
Does he know that, John?
there is a date, I'm not sure.
There's no unemployment this time? Okay, you gotta tell him tomorrow. And doesn't collect afterwards.
You know, because the laborer position too, we would have to advertise it, post it for 10 days. You know, Debbie will go through all the rules on that too. So it's not something we could turn quickly on.
I think we could hire somebody temporarily next Tuesday night,
Okay,
as long as it was temporary.
if we could find somebody.
If you could find someone.
I mean, I definitely can call all the, you know, the same people I called.
If we hire somebody temporary for 60, 90,
But check it
20
out.
days,
Good.
and
John, check
then we
it
can
out,
still go
okay?
back to hiring a
Whether
full-time
we can
laborer.
hire somebody temporarily, I'm sorry, Roy. We need to find out whether we can hire somebody temporarily next Tuesday night until we find a permanent position. This temporary person might fill in the, might be perfect, might fill in and we just hire him permanently if he checks out, but we need to get somebody in here right away, so. So I think it's some reference checks and a Cory check, okay? So.
I know some of them
Not that you
had-
want any more work, but that's,
So we have two options. We're going to either fill the secondary or find a temporary before next Tuesday.
yeah,
Is that what okay.
okay. No, there's three options. If we
Yeah, there's
can't
three.
find that, if we can't fulfill that, we need to think, we gotta need to get somebody in here
Okay,
to help him out
okay.
with all the other tasks, because we got the guy on vacation. So there's three things, right, John? A, B, and C.
Okay. We'll do our best to bring all those plans.
And then you're gonna find out about whether you can hire Jerry permanently. There's some kind of a creative way you can do that. I
Okay.
don't know. If you can find out a way to do it, I'm all for it. I don't, you know. Okay?
And we also need to put together a list of repair contractors for leaks.
We don't have anybody for that now.
We don't have a list as far as I know.
Well, we do have a list, but it's not
Yeah,
really a list
list.
that, we have to, it's just an emergency list. Because we got a break, we don't have an operator right now other than Rob, and Rob he's on vacation. So can you operate? Okay, so then we need we need some other help,
I mean, you and John both have hydraulic licenses, right? So either one of you can run it, correct?
I don't operate as well as Rob does, but
And this is
I know I
details
can
you
do
guys
all.
should be, right on. I just don't wanna hire the same person at time and time again. So everybody knows about that now, I hope, so. All right, so is there any other things on this?
so you're saying that we do have a list? All we gotta do is put it together in a list form so that we can
There's the
go down it?
procurement list we put together, like,
You're talking about water
For
breaks?
emergency
Water-
water
emergency
breaks,
water-
Yeah, we,
Glenn, what we did was, we put together a list of emergency water breaks, and I think what you're asking is we'll go down. But it should be procured ongoing and give whatever, what other towns do is 1 year, you're the guy that we're gonna call, we're gonna procure that, and you're gonna give us the best price. I don't know what your town did for that.
We had 3 that we used, that were all local guys, and started calling to find out who was home.
So we can do that too.
go to the first one, if he's
That's
not
what we're
available, go to
doing.
the second, go to the third.
That's what we're
But
doing.
that's under emergency, I can't,
Yeah,
we
if we got
can't
nobody
be in
here
the-
to fix a water break,
right,
we have 3 contractors or 4 contractors we can check from, right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you mix it up a little bit. What's the next thing?
the fire hydrants, that's, another thing.
Hydrant flushing.
Yeah, that's coming up.
You gotta do that before the snow flies, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Gotta do that September and October,
okay.
end of September.
How many hydrants?
365. Oh, we just added 1 or 2.
So, John, is there a protocol for the sequence of flushing them and all that stuff at the town?
and then they used to have a pattern, I think they started out on the west side and worked east.
Okay, so the problem I'm hearing here loud and clear is that we're understaffed. We need to correct that as soon as possible, okay? All right. Fox Meadow irrigation, install
They're
meters.
just looking for a temporary meter in the hydrant. We just put the brass together for that. As soon as we get some hydrant, as soon as we get some meters, we're set to go with that.
Yeah, I've seen this, replace broken big gate valves. So we got a couple of broken big gate valves, and so we gotta figure out how we can squeeze that into the schedule, right, John?
Right.
Okay, so. Meter pit, 501 Newbury Turnpike.
What's that one?
Oh, that's Simon's. We gotta get at that.
Oh, that's not a meter pit.
Well, we're gonna make a.
We're gonna put a pit meter
Yeah,
in
something,
their basement.
we gotta do something with that. I don't know, Glenn, is that a day or 2?
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
day, but it's a 2-man day.
It's a 2-man day on that
You
little,
gotta, according to Rob, you gotta dig a hole to expose the access window so that you can crawl into the crawl space.
It's just a crawl space under it.
After you pump it down. And
It's
that's what
flooded.
happened, it
it's
flooded.
flooded.
and, apparently flooded the meter. So if we put a sealed pit meter in there with a remote antenna, it could go underwater.
We got a meter that's underwater now?
Yes.
Apparently.
Those pit meters thing.
I don't like that, John.
Meter pit. Well, the water lines under there.
Yeah.
That doesn't freeze and cause problems?
That one's in the basement.
There's no
It's in the
sanitary
crawl
code by that? You're a sanitary code? Okay. 688 Main Street.
That's, Danny Wiles, we gotta get a patch on, where we replace the curb stop.
Okay. Well 2 VFD, replace.
So part of the capital plan was redevelop well 2. And this is one of the items that needs to be procured, and I need Glenn or John to help me here.
We get that in the budget?
Yes,
It's a phone call to 3 companies and just get a place, a
I just
price.
gotta spec it out. It's not just you can't call up and just get, is Glenn,
You
you
give them
help
the
me.
depth, you give them the diameter of the well, and you just say, it's
Now,
here.
You need the horsepower and the,
The
needs
well
help me.
horsepower,
He
yeah.
needs to help me.
That
Okay.
number 12, Glenn, was that just, did you say just a patch? I mean, like a hot top patch?
Yep.
So why can't we get the highway department, one of our vendors that we use to take care of that one off my list?
you just don't wanna miss it.
No, I'm just saying,
It was soft and soupy and,
no, we have 2 or 3 vendors that do patching when we have the water right beside the road, but I'm saying is,
is that what you do? Cause we also have, it's not on the first list, is, a bump in 133.
Right, we're looking at that speed bump, and I did get some procurement on that, but,
because Scott was after that, plus Ron is.
yeah, and Ron came to the meeting, but that is, you know, a $5,000 or $6,000.
But
Patch.
I mean, a patch, I mean, why can't we get one of the vendors that we use for patching, that, take care, that's one less thing off my list.
This has always been my point. We shouldn't be providing the quality of the streets other than say, you know, we fix the water mains and let the street department take care of this. I know he probably doesn't have any money in the budget, so he should be handling this patchwork for the streets in Raleigh. I don't know, that's my,
Well, I mean, maybe he'll do it, I mean, when
yeah.
They,
it's a state road, so that might be different too. It's not a state road.
Yeah, I go by there a lot, I don't see any speed bumps, so, but I want somebody to show me where the speed bump is, so. Well 2 VFD replace.
So we're gonna work on that, Glenn and I, right, Glenn?
yeah,
Village Green Project,
a nice spare time.
you gotta inspect it, you gotta inspect these things, Emily Oak, Ledge, Dexter Drive, Village
Somebody
Green,
should be out
is
there
that,
regularly and nobody has.
nobody
been
is?
Recently.
Where's Oak Woods and Dexter?
Dexter's right up the street here, and Oak Ledge is Georgia Love.
Can we get the plumbing inspector to do that inspection for us?
It does it. One of the things with like, Dexter, I don't know Oak Ledge. I don't know what that one is. But Dexter is an almost completed subdivision. And, Rob just spent an afternoon, locating all of the curb stops, making sure gate boxes are raised up. They were raising up, the gate boxes at the time. He said there were a couple issues, but he said they were minor. He was talking to the contractor. Emily is an ongoing subdivision. They're putting houses in and somebody should be there when they're putting the services in.
Yeah. The plumbing inspector can't do that.
I wouldn't think so.
Usually don't.
I wouldn't think you would do it. not till it's in the house.
John, you're not up there when they're putting the surfaces in?
Sometimes it's manual.
Can you do it, John?
And if they call for it.
Maybe you should take care of the inspections right now. Can you do that?
The Village Green project, they're looking to put an irrigation system in as an afterthought. They've got a long hydrant branch that will tap in. We've talked them into a 1-inch service line. Gonna make them put in a 1-inch meter pit and 1-inch backflow preventer in their control panel.
So is this all written down, and then all he's gotta do is just kinda make sure it's in there? Is it on the drawing? Do they have a permit for it downtown,
The
or?
Village Green,
Yeah,
not for that yet, no.
okay.
Potential.
They just came to us to see if it was okay to do it, rather than go back out, tear up the street and tie into,
Okay, so they already came in here, you told them what they need, and then, is it on a map or anything, or is it on a plan?
They've got it drawn on a plan, they haven't
Okay.
got it on a drawing per se.
So we need to have an as-built or something like that as soon as they put, okay. Inspector can do that, right? Tank cleaning, going back up to 7.
You,
So what, does that have to be done this year?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's a town meeting article, Tim, and that is procured. I'm gonna work with Glenn again on this one,
We got it set up with,
the Raleigh Light Department. Because we use their bucket truck to get to the top, to put in the diver. Right, Glenn? Am
yeah,
I saying that right?
So all we need is the electric light department and a diver?
we've got prices from, three dive companies.
Okay.
They're going to vacuum it out. It'll take one of us up there, it'll also take putting the system in hand so it's continuously flooded. One of the things that we need to do beforehand is pump that thing to overflow and see what floods.
So that's another couple of days of work,
Okay.
once we get going on that.
Big thing is you're gonna have to call them and see when they can schedule.
I know, that's, we did this, way back in April, so I have to update everything on this one.
Okay.
The bid is out of the Midwest, if I remember right.
Right.
All right, so we got a water ban? What's this water ban?
Okay, so we've been watching the gauge at the Parker River, and there was a couple of days it was down. Glenn, can you help me with this one, or?
It's been back up.
It's coming back
Okay,
up?
so cross
So
that one.
Well, we're watching it, Tim.
Okay,
There's been, possible water ban.
okay.
Um,
Staffing plan.
Well,
That's what
we're
we
talking
pushed
about,
yeah,
To the,
we went through that.
We already decided on the staffing plan, okay? All right. Treatment plan.
so these are, we don't have to go through all of this, Tim, just, you're getting the message here, I think, about what's going on.
Cleaning well 3, what's the difference between that and the,
So it's something different than what we were talking about at well 2.
well, 3 is a redevelopment. Pull the well pump out, pull the motor out, have somebody come in,
So,
chemically clean it.
yeah. What was the other one we were talking about? Well 2 VFD replaced?
Yeah,
What's that, what's VFD mean?
Variable frequency drive, it's the motor controller.
Okay. So that needs to be replaced?
Yes.
Okay. Did we figure that out
Right
in the
now, it's
budget?
just got a soft start in it.
yes, so we did have, well 2 was this year's capital
Okay.
plan, we did not have well 3 in there.
That's a subcontract. We'll get, how we figured on the prices of that?
So once I know the equipment, then the electrician, just to put it in.
Okay.
And what do you think, Leonard? Not even a day?
No, there's a couple of days.
A couple of days worth of work. Nothing is easy, okay? That's what I discovered here.
Okay, so we got this other stuff, general, pending, and completed.
You know, these
Maybe we
are,
ought to just table this until next meeting, is that possible? Is there anything that's,
Yeah.
so we can just kind of look at this and
This
digest
is
it?
more an FYI.
Okay,
and as we get ready too for the fall town meeting, I need direction if you want to start writing articles.
okay.
I think the time is here.
All right, so next week, we're gonna have a meeting. Next Tuesday night, is that okay with you guys? And at that point, we wanna have input from you folks. What kind of articles we should be doing, and then in the meantime, we can think about articles too. The article might be, creating a labor position, I don't know, so. Okay?
Yep.
All right, the last thing on new business, discuss administrative assistant position and interviews. I promised everyone that we would get this ball rolling, so I'm hoping that you folks have, seen the candidates at hand. We need to narrow it down to 2 people for this position so we can get the next phase of screening done, which is check on the references and Cory checks and things like that. So what I would like to initiate is to hire somebody by next meeting so we can get this this nut cracked, okay? So I need to have 2 candidates, so I'll let you 2 guys pick. Pick one, Roy.
Linda Sampson.
Okay, Linda Sampson is one. And then Stewie? Do you have any preferences, or is it just too many that you think are too qualified? What's your feelings on the matter? If you had to narrow it down to 2, do you think you could do it, or do you want me to make that decision?
You can make that decision.
Okay. What were the candidates again? John?
Linda Sampson, Christine Shepherd, who's just here.
So it's in your packet there, Tim, Debbie's letter. Karen Milo did withdraw her application.
Karen Milo dropped out.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one there.
I got them right here. Okay, so we have Linda Sampson, Christine Shepherd, Leslie Todd, Carmine Frederico, and Karen Milo. Okay. Well, I think I'd like to put forward Carmine. Okay, do I have a... we have two forward, Carmine and Linda. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, so, John, can you make sure that Ms. Clyden is made aware that we've narrowed it down to 2, and that we would like her to either give us an assignment or, have her check some of the references. I might call and check some of the references. I might take that up on myself. All right, so I'll check some of the references, if she could do that too. And then next Tuesday night, we'll be deciding on who we're gonna hire, okay? And The similar process will be done for either a temporary secondary operator or a primary, or a permanent secondary operator, okay? So we gotta figure out, either we have another interview next Tuesday night for some of these guys,
Sure.
or we just decide if we can make an offer. Okay, so we gotta start thinking about
I
that.
mean, we've interviewed them already, so I mean, first of all, I think what we should do is find out who's available, who's not.
Who's available? I think we've also gotta check their references, so
Right, but I think with some of them we already did have.
we gotta check into the status of that. So John, can you check with Amy
Yep.
to see what kind of status we have with what we need to do if we find one of these candidates who's already interviewed, okay? And see if she's got any other candidates that came in the meantime. And then, can you check the Water Works, Massachusetts Water Works site and see if there's anybody looking for a job there, or can we advertise on that? Still-
Our ad is still up there, believe it or not. It's still there since March.
Okay, all right, so
Um,
can you check on that, or, can you check on that too, John?
We could probably update it, maybe bring it back to the front page.
Okay, so that, any old business, like update research on private water departments? I've talked to Whitewater, they're gonna come in next meeting.
Oh,
So
good.
can you put that on the agenda
They'll be in next Tuesday,
next Tuesday?
then we're meeting the week after.
Time to get them coming
I don't know, I hope, we're probably gonna have to, so we can probably have to be on a weekly thing. So everything's-
Well, we should have another company come in.
Well, we already had 3 other companies, Floyd got 3 companies come in.
in. We
You
had
can
3
have one of
come in
them
before you
coming in.
came on, so.
I have the brochures, I can be happy to pass them on.
We'll get this Whitewater, we have them out. Then I'd like to invite Penachuk to come in.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. So that's the, I think that's it. Is there anything else that anybody can think of that, huh?
Adjournment.
Yeah. Anything else?
Can I just ask one question? I'm really sorry, Bree. Can you just tell me where we stand with the ETA on the plant? Is it on, still on calendar? Still on schedule?
I think,
So we're 20.
I'm not that concerned about that. I think it's on schedule,
Okay.
one way or the other. Unless something happens that really throws a monkey wrench into it.
Okay.
They're doing mostly the concrete work right now as far as the superstructure, and they'll be putting the roof on. Is that you guys?
Working on the roof now.
Yeah. So when they start putting the piping in, John Hargraves thinks it might be, might be some fun in that. So we don't know.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Okay. I have no question. Thank you. Sorry, Bree.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
So Larry, this week I'm marking on the